Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, as long as I get paid. Bad little fire, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she get straight. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise. Every other night, another movie getting paid. Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, as long as I get paid. Bad little fire, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she get straight. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise. Every other night, another movie getting made.
I'm not in competition with my homies, I'm women in competition in the road. I knew my opposition never knew me, they wouldn't be opposition if they knew me. I made a proposition to my hitters, I told them to knock it down if you owe me. I did the sock round, hit the building, we moved. Got pound, till the 40, them niggas got knocked down. We was on my homie, I out now, so we on. I was like 16 with the leg on me, give me the feel like spot one. But it was 15, niggas cracking me when they got real, try to slide on. I made some nails with the guys on it, we keeping it real, niggas now. How does it feel?
Got a lot of blood and it's cold. They keep trying to get me for my soul. Thankful for the women that I know. Can't go 50-50 with no hope. Every month, I'm supposed to pay her bills and get her what she want. I still got like 7 years of doing what I want. My dad still got child support from 1991. Out of town, people love to pop a lot of shit and come around. Word of Flacco Jody, he done seen us put it down. That's a Liverpool upset.
FYL Sports, man. It's Lamont. We back. And we got a show for you guys today. Just got to talk about this NBA playoff race that's heating up, man. Salute, man. LBJ fan, appreciate that. Salute to Jarrell Franklin. See some new names in the chat today. All right, Skirvin. Man, salute. He said it's a tight playoff race. Salute to Jared Thomas. Yeah, this is one of the tightest playoff races I've seen. And then what makes this playoff race even crazier is the play-in. So I think that's going to change the dynamics, because the 4 teams that are in the play-in, it's not even, in that particular case, it's not even going to be about the best team. It's going to be about what team do you trust most in a win-or-go-home setting, right? Depending on what teams get matched up. So we're going to be looking at some of the matchups. And then for just the seeding purposes, we got to see, okay, who has, especially in the Western Conference, the strength of schedule remaining, right? Number 4 said, go easy on my Lakers. I mean, it's not really necessarily about the Lakers. It's about the entire NBA. I mean, the playoff race is crazy. I mean, I think the Lakers are tied for 9th right now. So, it is what it is, I mean, so we got a lot to talk about today. Make sure you guys also, and I see you, B Skrills. I'll drop let me put that banner up. Yeah, if anybody wants to support the channel, man, like I said, support the channel with a Cash App donation. The Cash App's right there on the screen. Salute to B Skrills. And I'll be calling out all those Cash App donations, man. We always looking for one of y'all to be the sponsor of the stream. So obviously the largest donation of the day, man, you'll be the sponsor of the stream for the day. He says, what's my finals prediction? We're going to get to all that. But I'll let you guys know who my favorite is coming out the West. My favorite is coming out the East. And then I think, like I said, the most interesting aspect of, and I think this is what the NBA wanted to create around this time of year, when things normally kind of get boring and we're just waiting for the playoffs to start, because generally around this time of year, we kind of know the teams that are going to be in the playoffs, and it's not very interesting. So the NBA created this play-in scenario because now it becomes much more interesting. Teams that didn't have an opportunity to be in the playoffs now have a viable shot, and they have to play the season out all the way to the end. And this is exactly what they wanted with the play-in. We are invested in the regular season till the very last game. And so now everything matters, right? And it's so much money a team can bring in just by making the playoffs. I mean, some of these, and then obviously the experience that your young players get. I mean, if you can make the playoffs as the 10 seed, come on, that's big. Exactly, Chief. So, I mean, for the negatives where people complain about the play in, I know the players really don't like it. It adds an element to the game that we've never seen before, and obviously it's for entertainment. I mean, you talk about Adam Silver always finding ways to keep this league interesting, and he's done a very good job of it. Philip Morris is the Lakers in ninth. Yeah, we're gonna go through all the standings. We're gonna go through strength of schedule. We're gonna go all that. Tomorrow, you guys. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's probably going to be around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be having a special guest on the show. Obviously, we're going to be bringing Scott Williams in. He has a new book coming out that he wants to talk about. And we just going to be really jogging his mind, really, really talking about not just how he got into the game of basketball. He's one of the most interesting basketball characters. He's only one of 4 players in NBA history that have played with both LeBron James and Michael Jordan. And when you talk about his playing career, he got coached by Dean Smith, one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. He played with Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He played with LeBron James, arguably one of the top 2 greatest players of all time. He got coached by the greatest coach of all time. So, I mean, this man has seen so much. Obviously, we're going to be talking about all those things. Like I said, he has a new book coming out. We're going to be getting through all that. If you guys want to check it out early, he has a new book coming out called Through the Fire. You can find it on Amazon. I'll be putting a link to that book in the chat today and tomorrow. But he's going to obviously be coming on to talk about some of these things. And he's going to be giving us some of the secrets, man. What was going on in them Chicago Bulls locker rooms, right? Was there a ton of disgruntled players? Was he disgruntled? And we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. So make sure y'all want to tune in tomorrow. We're going to have Scott Williams on the show. And we're going to really dive deep. We're going to really jog his mind. We're going to ask him all the tough questions. A lot of the things that we've been wanting to know, all the things that we make guesses about, we're not for sure on. He's going to help fill in the blanks for them. And it's going to paint a clear picture. And it's going to, when we go into these debates, we can actually go into these debates with stronger talking points. But when we're talking about this 2023 NBA playoff picture, when we're talking about this 2023 playoff picture, I think the first thing that comes to mind is how close some of the races are. All right, and I'm about to go through some of the standings real quick. But my prediction, you guys, just without looking at standings right now, without having anything in front of my face, just kind of going off how teams are playing. Man, it's hard to go against the Sixers, y'all. I mean, when you got the leagues, you got James Harden, who's leading the league in assists, Embiid, who I don't know if he's still the league leader in scoring, but he's up there. It's kind of hard to go against that. But when I watch the Sixers play, like anybody who's watched the Sixers play, when they're good, they're really good. But when the Sixers are bad, they're really bad. And that's even with James Harden and Joel Embiid on the floor. And I've seen both when they play. They play a brand of basketball because they slow it down so much. The Sixers brand of basketball is more favorable for the playoffs and not the regular season. So that kind of lends me to believe that what they do is going to translate better to the playoffs, maybe a bit better than a Boston Celtic team, maybe a bit better than a Milwaukee Buck team. And they still can defend. They still can defend at a high level, even though they traded Matisse Thybulle, one of their best perimeter defenders. So, I mean, obviously coming out the East, I have to go with I got to go with the 76ers. I got to go with the 76ers. Tyrone says Harden will decline come postseason, though. The problem with that, Tyrone, is Harden hasn't necessarily declined in the playoffs. They've lost in the playoffs, but if you go look at his stats, they really haven't taken a major hit. I mean, if you want to gripe over a few points, that's you. Then you have to just look at the pace of playoff basketball. The pace of playoff basketball goes down, and if the pace goes down, you can only assume that a player's scoring will go down a tinge as well. I don't know. I don't the narrative that James Harden chokes in the playoffs. I honestly don't know where specifically it comes from. His numbers go down. I don't know if I call that choking. I don't know. Gesture said in the comments. He says he's not a fan of the play-in. I am, because what we're doing right now, the fact that our eyes are glued to the standings and we're really watching how this seeding plays out right now, the fact that we're even talking about it is why the play-in is a success. Like I said, the NBA needed to keep fans engaged and fully interested from start to finish. And they found ways from the start all the way to the finish to keep us locked in and talking about. And they had to come up with this because normally during this time of year, what are we talking about? The NCAA tournament. So they had to do something to compete with that viewership that they were losing to the NCAA tournament. That's the NCAA, and then they're probably not going to be able to outpace the NCAA tournament. But at the same time, they want to keep people talking about NBA basketball during that same time frame. He says Harden shrimped every year. I don't know. I mean, like I said, yeah, I think this is the narrative surrounding James Harden. When you go back and look at it, man, James Harden's been good. Now, has he had moments in games where teams have kind of really schemed him out? Yeah, but I don't call a player missing shots choking. I'm always been the type to, if I see a great player struggling, then I want to first look to the defense and say, okay, is this one of the better defenses in the league? Are they doing something defensively that I need to give the defense credit for? Because if you're just going to say James Harden choked, that means you're not giving any credit to the defense. You say he choked last year. I honestly can't remember specifically what happened last year. I know these last couple of years they've been up and down. I don't even know if he was fully healthy last year. I think last year he was still dealing with that injury. So he's not passive in the playoffs, y'all. He's not. His numbers in the playoffs are still really good. I mean, like if I pulled up his playoff averages, like James Harden, if I just pulled it up, I just typed it in. His playoff stats are probably going to be ridiculous, man. All right, so James Harden in 149 games is averaging 23 points a game, 6.2 assists, 5.5 rebounds. I mean, those are probably similar to his career numbers. And Jared, when y'all say choker, that's just based on your subjective definition of what choking is. When like I said, when y'all so quick to say that players choke in the playoffs, that means you're not giving credit. Like last year, people say KD choked in the playoffs. That means you're not giving no credit to how good the Boston Celtics were defensively. If KD choked, then the Celtics were trash defensively. That defense had nothing to do. That means KD just choked, and that defense had nothing to do with him getting slowed up. He was just missing shots. That's not what happened. We saw great defense, and we saw it get executed to a high level. Like we clamor, y'all. We clamor to see this defense, right? We clamor to see all this defense. Oh, and salute to locker room, y'all. I gotta give a big salute to locker room because I just checked my cash app, and the locker room said he just sent $50. So if you any of y'all see Bees, I don't know if Bees is listening now, but I want to make sure I let Bees know. The locker room did send Bees is $50, and I just hit my cash app. So salute to the locker room for coming through, knocking that out. We still been definitely checking your channel out, man. No love lost. So, it is this. Definitely came through and knocked that bet out. So salute to the locker room as well for coming through in the cash app. But yeah, look, like I said, man, we're in an era, right? We're in an era where everyone wants to say there's no defense being played. But is it that defense is not being played, or is it that you guys don't care to look for the defense that's actually being played? Are you guys giving teams and individuals credit when they actually go play good defense? See, we're in this player choked culture, and this is the same culture that's not paying attention to defense. So that's all I say. He says Lamar already has a video talking about that. Yeah. Salute to Jarvis Stevenson, man. AG the Great, man. I'm seeing a lot of new names in here. Salute to Retro 1914, Willie the Kid, man. We're going to get to some of this talk right here. And I'm going to also open the link up. I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to be bringing you guys in to talk about some of these things. But let me just get to some of the things that I wanted to kind of point out about this playoff race. And these are the things, as we get into this playoff race, these are the things that we kind of want to focus on, right? We already saw the Phoenix Suns. We saw what Devin Booker. If you guys didn't see it, go check him out on Twitter. He came out and said, man, I'm starting to feel like it's an agenda to get the Lakers in the playoffs. He says, man, this last game, bro, you see how many times the Lakers, they were really upset about the free throw disparity when they played. But, I hate it when people push that narrative, because when I watched the Lakers play the Suns, I simply saw one team being more aggressive than the other. People were talking about Austin Reeves getting to the free throw line more. Generally, guys who get to the free throw line more are the most aggressive. And Austin Reeves has been extremely aggressive. It doesn't surprise me that he's now, and now it looks like he's playing with more freedom to go score. So it doesn't surprise me. And he's definitely a showman with his fouls, right? So he definitely puts a little extra sauce on some of those fouls, kind of is a bit flamboyant with it. So, it is what it is. He says Lakers in the playoffs is great for the NBA. Yeah, it is. Well, just LeBron in the playoffs. That's the main thing. And I think if the Lakers, I don't care what seed they are, the Lakers are 7, 8, 9, or whatever, or 7 or 8 seed, I just feel bad for the number 1 or number 2 seed. Because now you're going to be in a war in the first round against a team that's really only seeded this low because of how poorly they started off the year with a horribly constructed roster. Keep it 100. The Suns only shoot jump shots. Booker was the only one going to the paint. Yeah, they do. They shoot a ton of jump shots. And then the problem with the Suns is they shoot a lot of mid-range jump shots. They don't even shoot a lot of threes. So they're shooting a lot of shots that don't really space the defense out. And this is what haunted the Phoenix Suns last year. But let's get to this playoff picture, because we're going to talk about the Suns. We're going to talk about the Eastern Conference first. Eastern Conference, we got the Bucks in first place, Boston in second right now. They're about 2.5 games behind. We got the Philadelphia 76ers, who are three games behind the Bucks in third place. Now, what do we want to keep in mind here when we're talking about those three teams and how they finish out the year? Because they are so close there, that seeding could potentially change. One thing you want to keep in mind is with the Sixers, their remaining schedule, they have the number 1 hardest remaining schedule in the NBA. Keep that in mind as you watch the 76ers as they finish out the season. The Milwaukee Bucks have the 9th rated strength of schedule going from today forward. And then the Boston Celtics, they have the 16th hardest schedule to finish out. So we could very well see, because Cleveland, who's sitting in 4th, they're 7 games behind. I don't see them catching Philly. But can Philly survive this gauntlet of a schedule to finish out the season and maybe move up past the Celtics? And with Boston having a much easier schedule than all of the top 3 teams in the East, can they maybe creep up and steal that number 1 overall seed and bump the Milwaukee Bucks down to the 2 spot? And so that's going to be interesting right there. And that being the number 2 seed is going to be kind of interesting, because the Miami Heat could be sitting there at the number 7 seed. And that's going to be a tough matchup for anybody to have to deal with Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. So I think a lot of teams are possibly, especially if you're a Buck team where the Miami Heat have had a ton of success defending Giannis in the playoff setting. Is it a matchup that the Milwaukee Bucks want to avoid? They're probably going to do everything possible to stay at that number 1 spot. I don't see the Miami Heat dropping down to the 8th spot, but then they are in the play-in, so that could change. But I would expect that the Miami Heat will come out alive and be that number 7 seed there. So to fill out the rest of the East, we got Cleveland at 4th. They're 7 games behind first place. We got the Knicks as the 5th seed. We have the Brooklyn Nets at the 6th seed. Surprisingly, they've still been able to maintain some relevance. And we have Miami Heat at 7. Atlanta Hawks been extremely disappointing this year. They're sitting at the 8th seed. The Raptors at 9, and the Chicago Bulls surprisingly at the 10th seed. So some of the things you want to watch out for. I think the Bulls are a team that's starting to kind of figure it out with the addition of Patrick Beverley. They're starting to play a little bit better defense, but they're still struggling to get consistency as far as winning multiple games in a row. I think those 2 games back-to-back versus the Lakers, I think those 2 games are basically going to determine the Chicago Bulls season. I think those are going to be the 2 games that are going to be determining factor. But those 2 games are also going to have major implications for the Los Angeles Lakers as well. So when we talk about strength of schedule, Cleveland has one of the weakest schedules remaining, sitting at 4th place. Again, even with one of the weaker schedules, I just don't see them climbing, making up enough games to catch the Sixers at the number 3 overall spot. But I do believe they can come close. And that's the difference right there. Where Philly, their remaining schedule is the hardest remaining schedule in the league, while Cleveland's sitting at 4th. They have the easiest schedule in the league. And Prince Legend says Lamont is no. I'm a Blazer fan. Prince Legend. I'm sorry. Sorry about it, Prince Legend. It just is what it is. Now, does it make sense to talk about the Lakers? Yes, because the Lakers are the most popular team in the NBA. And if you're looking for viewership, it just makes sense to talk about Lakers. They have some of the most interesting talking points, on top of the fact they have LeBron James. And the most drama has been surrounded by the Lakers. You know, what do you want me to come on here and talk about the Toronto Raptors? And then I'll have 6 people watching from Toronto because nobody cares. Like Prince Legend, I'll let you come up with the next show topic, and we'll let you talk about the Orlando Magic, and I'll let you come up here just like Ticket does. Lets people get their own show. We'll give you the Orlando Magic show, and we'll have 19 Orlando Magic fans in here watching Prince Legend talk about some of the more boring teams since he's bothered by me talking about the Lakers. All right. So that's the Eastern Conference. That's how the Eastern Conference is shaping out as of today. So you got the Bulls, you got the Raptors, the Bulls with a very easy schedule to finish out. The Raptors, probably about a neutral schedule to finish out. I believe they'll be in the play-in. You have the Hawks, and then you have the Miami Heat. So when we're talking about the play-in tournament, obviously the top 4 seeds, you're looking at the Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, and then the Cavs. Those matchups could change based on strength of schedule. But then we have obviously the play-in game. So as it stands right now today, the play-in in the East would be Miami versus Atlanta, and then you have Toronto versus the Bulls. Now, I believe that the Chicago Bulls in a play-in in a one-and-done setting would eliminate the Raptors. I think they would definitely beat the Raptors in that particular setting. I believe the Miami Heat will beat the Hawks, and I think the Hawks will have another chance to make that 8 seed by playing the Chicago Bulls. But I don't see the Atlanta Hawks beating the Chicago Bulls in that second play-in game. So my 2 predictions for the 7 and 8 seed, I would have the Miami Heat at 7 and the Chicago Bulls at 8. Those would be my 2 selections. Because remember, we're talking about one and done. And when you're talking about one and done, I'm looking at what team has the most non-pattern players who can go get buckets when the pressure's on. And then you're looking at Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. I don't know if I can trust Trae Young this year, right? Already being disgruntled with that team. The coach has been fired. They are not playing defense. They've simply benched John Collins. I don't know what direction that team is going, but it seems like they could potentially be a broken locker room because they have the talent on that team to easily be a top 6 seed in the East, but yet they're sitting at the bottom. And it's not like they've dealt with a ton of injury issues this year. For the most part this year, they pretty much had their entire team. But they still struggle to find consistency, and I think it starts with Trae Young. I don't know if he's completely bought in. To win in basketball. Tackable Pond says FYF GOAT is MJ. Stop it. What they're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What people coming in saying I'm a LeBron fan or something? Jordan is the GOAT. That is true. Darius Bill says Trey killed that locker room, and Darius Bill, I gotta agree with you there. I mean, when I see a coach like Nate McMillan get fired, now I know Nate McMillan is one of the hardest coaches in the league, similar to Tom Thibodeau. He will coach you hard, but he will maximize what you are. He will get the best out of you. Salute Ricky E245, man, one of the top. I mean, this is one of the day one supporters right here. Ricky E245, man. Salute to Ricky E245. We might have to get you a wrench, Ricky. You just been here so long, one of the OGs. Might have to get you wrenched up. But these playing games are going to be very interesting because they're going to be extremely competitive. So in the East, like I said, we're looking at Miami and Atlanta, Toronto, and the Bulls. You guys in the chat, let me know who you guys will potentially have in those matchups. Like I said, I've let you guys know who I have. So I believe that the Miami Heat and the Bulls take up those last two seeds, which would mean that the Milwaukee Bucks would face the Chicago Bulls in the first round, which is the most favorable matchup. We saw how the Milwaukee Bucks manhandled the Chicago Bulls last year. And then that means the number 2 seed, if it stays the same, that means the Boston Celtics will be playing the Miami Heat. And we saw how tight that the Miami Heat played this same Boston team last year. And they will be looking to get their revenge. I don't know if that second round matchup is going to be so easy for the Boston Celtics. If Miami can potentially find a way to steal one in Boston, I believe Boston will be in trouble. So that's definitely, he says Cleveland can be dangerous. I believe so too, because that means the way it's panning out now, we're looking at Cleveland playing the Knicks in the first round. I definitely believe Cleveland's better, but if Brunson and the Knicks get going and they start making those threes, I think the 3-point shot is what they struggle with most. But if they can find a way to make threes, they can make that competitive. But I don't see them coming out ahead. I think the Philly would love to stay at 3 and play the Brooklyn Nets at the 6th spot. I think that would be the ideal matchup. I mean, obviously, let's get the jitters out. Let's get the kinks out. Obviously, there's been playoff struggles. All right, let's just get this out of our system. But a team that they can kind of get tuned up and warmed up against will be the Brooklyn Nets. I just don't see any scenario right now where the Brooklyn Nets could potentially beat the Sixers in the first round. Just don't see it. Salute to Nicholas Brown in the chat, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Oh, man. Hold on. Oh, Tiffany Nett. Salute to Tiffany Nett. We got Gen C Flex to salute as well. He says Celtics will beat Miami. He says Jimmy too inconsistent. But we say that. But the one thing that we know, because we're going off what we see in the regular season, the one thing that we know for certain, though, is that the Miami Heat are a tough out in the playoffs. I believe, like if I had to put money on it, you guys, I would definitely believe that the Bucks will beat. That the Boston Celtics will beat the Miami Heat. But I'm not going to pretend as if it's not going to be competitive. And we know in the playoffs, all it takes is one injury to completely change a series. And we've seen it happen over the last couple of years. Every year we've seen it happen. One injury here, there, one ankle turn here. And now it changes the power dynamic of what team could potentially be better. I mean, the Miami Heat, who've had their ups and downs, they still have a very formidable team. When you're looking at Bam, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, they still got a formidable team that can defend. I think they've been trying to figure things out at that shooting guard position. What is Victor Oladipo? Victor Oladipo has looked terrible to me. Why he still gets viable playing time, I don't know. If I were them, I would go with Duncan Robinson more. But I've seen watching Victor Oladipo play, he looks unsure of himself. He takes a ton of bad shots. His defense looks good, but it's not good. So he's one of those guys that look good as a defender. He's going to sit in front of you and make it look good. But once guys get to taking them laterally, he completely gets blown by. So I think their issue is they didn't address that. They didn't address that shooting guard spot. Jason the Kid says, what happened to the memberships? I just turned off monetization over there because I'm thinking about allowing monetize more to monetize my other channel. So I had to shut off monetization for 30 days on my other channel so that monetize more can look at my numbers on the other channel. I'm probably going to be turning it back on, probably here within the next week or so. But like I said, I'm just kind of weighing some options there because YouTube is just making it extremely difficult to make money. The YouTube monetization is very, very low, very low. All right. I mean, just to give you guys an example, I have a YouTube short with close to 20 million views, and I probably only made like $82 off of it. We're talking about 20 million views off a YouTube short, and you're looking at $80 to $100. And there was a few people that gave some super thankses on it, but not significant. So we really have to, so this is why, I don't knock the casinos or the tickets or anybody that says, hit the Cash App, because YouTube monetization is not sweet. And so people are not making money off ad revenue, you guys. So like I said, just like you guys ante up and you paying DirecTV and paying for these, man, go ahead and just support the content creators that y'all watch, man. He says Lowry might as well go to the G League. Yeah, Lowry is done. They put a lot of stock into Lowry, thinking that they could get some little juice out of him. And he is not giving them anything but a big bill. That's about it. So look out, and so that's how the Eastern Conference is looking right now. Yard Vibe says that's why I like Lamont channel. He talk about basketball. Yeah, no, there's no hate on other channels, man. It's just basketball, no hate. So we see how the seeding and things play out now in the Eastern Conference. There are some teams on the bubble. So when we talk about teams that could potentially creep in, teams that could potentially fall out, and then teams that creep in, you're looking at the Indiana Pacers at 11, right? The problem with the Pacers is they have the fourth hardest strength of schedule to finish out the season, all right? And then we're looking at the Washington Wizards at 12 and the Orlando Magic at 13. Now, I don't see Orlando Magic finishing strong enough. I believe they're completely out of the picture. The Washington Wizards have come on strong of late. Can they creep into that 10 spot? I think that's going to be a key. But the Wizards, with the 17th hardest strength of schedule remaining in the league, are they going to be able to go on a run to finish out the season? Maybe they can creep into that 10 spot. But that would also, see, when you're sitting at that 11 and 12 spot, that means you need some help from the teams above you. The teams above you need to lose. And so when I talk about the Chicago Bulls and those two back-to-back games against the Lakers, those are games that they aren't going to be able to give up. They're going to have to find a way to win, if not one, both of those games, if they don't want a team like Washington or the Pacers creeping ahead of them. So I don't believe the Pacers make it simply because of their strength of schedule, but I believe that the Washington Wizards have a real chance to creep back in. And so the teams that are already disqualified, we're talking about the Charlotte Hornets and the Detroit Pistons. They've completely been eliminated. Those two guys are going to be in the Victor Wembanyama race in both of those teams. Well, not both. I think the Pistons are on the right direction, but I think the Charlotte Hornets really, really need to go into the offseason and analyze the direction of that franchise. Because I don't know if the coaching staff and the front office are completely meshing together. I think the coaches want to do one thing, which they brought back a coach that they fired, which nobody in the world understood. Out of all the young coaches that you could go hire, out of all the young names where you could bring somebody in that could energize a locker room, galvanize a team full of young stars, you don't go get a young name. You don't even attempt to go get a young guy like a Shaka Smart. I don't know if he even would have left college basketball, but you don't even go out and try to make a change. You just go get an old washed up coach from Orlando that's already lost a ton everywhere he's been, and you give him another chance to coach this Charlotte Hornet team. And for what? I mean, Steve Clifford is good. Let's not take nothing away from him. But when we talk about a young team like the Charlotte Hornets, they need a coach that's going to come in and give them like a little life, a little energy. Who's going to do? Steve Clifford brought no life, no energy. He's boring, right? The players probably stopped listening to him back in December. Coaches lose their voice about 3 months into the season, right? I don't know if he's even very relatable with the players. Is there a connection there? So, and then they still got to figure out what are they doing with Miles Bridges, right? They can't just let him walk. The legal issues are now resolved. So what do they do with him? When is it going to be the right time to sign him? And if they sign him, is there going to be backlash from the media? And are they going to be able to withstand that? And then when you look at the Pistons, they're headed in the right direction, right? They've held on to all their young talent. You can tell the direction that they're going. They made a great trade in getting James Wiseman. I don't believe James Wiseman is going to be the all-star player that a lot of people have hyped him up to be, including myself. But again, you're going out and at least making moves, and we can see the direction that you're going. I don't see the direction that Charlotte's going. They've held on to Gordon Hayward for too long. Why is he still there? He does not fit. He doesn't mesh well. You still got Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier doesn't fit what they look like, what they intend to do going forward in the future. And LaMelo Ball's been injury riddled this entire year. Just because the problem is they have to bring Bridges back. They're not in a position to let him walk and get no resources for him back. The only thing that they can do is maybe sign him and then trade him. But as far as letting him walk, they aren't in a position to let a resource like that just walk for nothing. They're not good enough. They don't have the talent. That's just not in a combination that they have right now. So that's the entire Eastern Conference, you guys. You got 2 teams that are out. You got about 3 teams still on the bubble in the picture. But realistically, I believe that the Heat and the Bulls make it in. Brandon Miller would be a great pickup for the Charlotte Hornets. That would be a great pairing to put alongside Lonzo Ball. I'm going to be doing a show about that. I want to talk about that. Hey, let's get to the Western Conference, you guys. After I get through the Western Conference, I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to bring you guys in to talk about it. Hold on. Jessica says Gordon Hayward there because he's under contract. Nobody wants to trade for him. I don't believe that. I believe there are teams that would have traded for Gordon Hayward. I believe there were a ton of teams that would have traded, especially with all of the teams with disgruntled pieces. When you're looking at the Hawks with a disgruntled John Collins, when you're looking at the Lakers with like Russ, who was disgruntled. Obviously the Lakers had more disgruntled pieces than we believe. Now it's come out that Thomas Bryant requested a trade. Now it's come out that Patrick Beverley requested a trade. So now we see that the Lakers had more disgruntled pieces than we were led to believe. So, and if the Lakers had those, then I'm sure a lot of other teams had those as well. She said, I agree. Clifford, don't baby. It's not about babying the spoiled brats. It's not about that. It's about, right? So when you're a losing team, now it starts to become, okay, how do we build off small wins? Right? How do we energize these young guys and get them to learn from their mistakes? And then we actually see a game-to-game improvement going into the next game. Like when I look at the Houston Rockets, the way they compete at times tells me that they have a coach that hasn't lost a locker room. Now, they might make young player mistakes and lose games, but the way they compete from quarters 1 through 3 tell me that's a team that's actually trying. And on a night in and night out basis, they can actually be in games and potentially win games because those guys are literally going back to the drawing board, learning from their mistakes. Okay, I did this wrong. And they're trying to figure it out. I don't see that with Charlotte. Completely lost over there. He says, NBA going to award Jordan with that number 1 pick. Melo, Victor Wembanyama will do damage. I don't know if that's how the lottery works. I don't know if any teams gets awarded with anything, but, the conspiracy theories are going to definitely be flying around. But I don't know if Jordan is even going to be there. He's about to sell his majority share of the team. So I don't even know if Jordan's still going to be there. But we got the Western Conference. All right, first place. We're going to talk about the first 3 seeds. Denver Nuggets, Memphis Grizzlies, and the Sacramento Kings, the surprise team of the NBA. Probably in Mike Brown, we're talking about the coach of the year. I think he's done the absolute best job of any team. But when we talk about the top 3 seeds, Denver, they have a 6th hardest strength of schedule remaining. Can they hold on? The Memphis Grizzlies are 3.5 games behind right now. They have the 22nd hardest schedule in the league. And then we have the Sacramento Kings. They're about 5 games behind. I don't believe they can catch the Denver Nuggets at the top, but they have the 19th hardest schedule in the league. So I think 1 through 3 in the West, I think that's pretty locked. because the Suns, who are 10 and or who are about five games behind the Kings, don't believe they're going to have enough to make a run to catch the Kings. So I don't believe they can creep up into third. So and the Suns have the fifth hardest strength of schedule remaining. So the Suns could very well be dropping if they don't pay close attention to how they finish out the season. So when you look at those top three seeds, that's what we got right there. When we move outside of the top three seeds, we got the Suns at the fourth spot. We got the Clippers at the fifth spot. The Warriors, Timberwolves at 7. OKC at the 8th spot, Dallas at the 9th spot, and we got the Lakers at the 10th spot. Now, it kind of gets tricky. Kind of gets a little tricky there because there's a lot of teams tied. So I believe there's like a 3-4-way tie going on right there. I'll pull up the exact standings so that we'll see. Let me pull it up real quick. That way I can have it in front of me. I told you about FAU. Hey, like I said, man. I mean, but you got to think there's a little luck involved in there. Like you say you told me about FAU, but I mean, they got to play a 6th seed. I mean, they played a 6th seed, a 16 seed. I mean, Purdue choked. So like in the NCAA tournament, there's a little luck involved too. When you get to play that 16 seed and then you get your rhythm going, then anything can happen. Let me pull up the standings. I'm gonna pull up the standings, Brandon. That way I can be more accurate. Because I know there's a ton of tiebreakers involved that can kind of shift things around. Okay, so as it stands right now, the Lakers, the Pelicans, and the Mavericks all have the same record. With the Mavericks with the 8th spot, the Pelicans with the 9th spot, the Lakers with the 10th spot. So they're all tied. So one win or loss could shift all of this. I'm not for sure who the Lakers play tonight. Let me check. The Lakers tonight. Okay, the Lakers play the Thunder tonight. So this game will definitely shift some things for the Lakers because that means the Thunder would lose. So that would move where the Thunder are. And if the Lakers win, that would move them up. Now, the other games that we have tonight, let's see who else plays. He says 80. Oh, 80's out? If the 80's out, they're not going to win. That team can't win without AD. If 80's out, which I don't know why they would sit AD. I can swear I saw a post where AD said he was not going to sit out any more back-to-backs. So tonight we got Hornets, Mavericks, which I don't see the Mavericks losing. So you might as well just notch a win in the books for the Mavericks. You got the Kings and the Suns. It's going to be a win that the Suns really need right there. Bulls, Blazers. Obviously, the Bulls really need that win right there. They're going to have to, for seeding purposes. I'm just trying to really focus on the games that are really going to have an impact towards the bottom of the West. Yeah, so we got OKC tied, Dallas tied, the Lakers tied. I think Minnesota 37-37. He says, yeah, that's what I thought. 80's in, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know 80 wasn't. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought, Sean Velour. I could swear 80 said he not. And then I don't even know if it's a back-to-back. That's what I'm saying. It's not even a back-to-back. They didn't play last night. So you're right. So, yeah, if 80 plays, then OKC can't beat him. Now, they can't let Shai Gilgeous-Alexander get loose because it just seems like he just gets extra motivation when he plays the Lakers. And coming off that All-Star game where LeBron James messed around and blocked his dunk, he's not going to be too happy. He's going to have a goal. His goal is going to solely be, how can I put the Lakers out of the playoffs? So I'm not surprised. I'm not going to be surprised in that if I see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander go off for 45-50, trying to put the Lakers to shame. The Lakers lose this game, things are going to start to get really hard. They're going to have to pull off a 4 or 5 game win streak to really put themselves in good position to where they can have some breathing room. If they keep going, win one, lose one, they're going to be tough. And I don't know how many of these tiebreakers with these teams they're going to win out on. All right, so when we talk about strength of schedule, the Clippers have the 11th hardest schedule remaining. They're sitting at 5th. The Warriors with the 12th hardest strength of schedule. I believe the Warriors could potentially move up to that 4th spot. right? Only being about a game and a half behind the Clippers and the Suns. I believe the Warriors, if they can fix their road issues, I believe the Warriors can bump up to the 4 spot. Now, and they're actually getting healthy. Now, that's all. A lot of the things with the Warriors are going to be contingent on if and when Wiggins can come back. They haven't looked the same defensively without Wiggins. And obviously, we all know the rumors that are out there going on with Wiggins is not a topic that I really want to touch on, primarily because, one, it's a big-time personal issue, and two, I don't even know the validity of some of the things that people are talking on. I don't know how true they are, but we all know the story's there, right? All we can do is just wish him the best. Hopefully, he can bounce back from whatever issues he got going on. Hopefully, we see him on the court. But obviously, for now, it just does not look like Wiggins is going to be back in the foreseeable future. And so the way things are shaping out right now, it's very odd because teams 4 through 10 in the West, like Phoenix could potentially drop to 10th, right? That's how crazy it is. That's how crazy this West could potentially shape out. I mean, with them, I mean, the Lakers are only 3.5 games behind Phoenix. Phoenix has a very tough schedule remaining to finish out the year, while the Lakers have a very easy schedule to finish out the year. The Dallas Mavericks also have a very easy schedule to finish out the year, but that's also the same with the OKC Thunder. So the 3 teams at the bottom of the West have very easy schedules to finish out. So I don't see these teams at the bottom, unless they're playing each other, I don't see them shooting themselves in the foot by losing games. They all have very easy games. Hopefully they have no hiccups and lose those games. I believe the youth, the OKC, is potentially going to come back to haunt them. I think that's what could cost them some games that they should potentially win. I believe OKC can potentially fall out of the playoff picture completely if they go on a losing streak. But it's going to start with tonight. And like I said, LeBron James set himself up for this one by blocking that dunk in the All-Star game. So if we see Shai Gilgeous come out and go for 60, that's something you can blame on LeBron, who's not even here on the court to actually stop that man. We got Jared Stevenson. He says the West has been in playoff mode. He says Chet better ate his Wheaties. Hopefully I want to see Chet get back. I believe Chet's going to be a good player. He says nobody's buying into the Denver or the Kings. You know, the more I watch the Sacramento Kings, I like them. The problem is I don't trust them in the playoffs because everything that they're doing to get success right now is all offense. All right. They haven't shown anybody that they can defend. They can definitely outscore you if you try to get into a track race, but they will not be able to defend good teams in the playoffs. And that's what's going to hurt them. The Grizzlies, you know, I think here's the thing. I think the league turning Ja Morant into a villain is not going to be good. Right. And you know, everybody tried to, you know, take shots at him when he was down. I think Ja Morant and the Grizzlies, I think a lot of the issues that we saw surrounding that team kind of make them a more unified bunch going into the playoffs. I think they're going to be a tough out because they got more to prove now. Now that the target's on their back. Everybody's been calling them thugs and this, that, and the other. I wouldn't want to play Memphis Grizzlies, not early in this playoffs. The Denver Nuggets, with the 6th hardest strength of schedule remaining, potentially they're going to play the 8th seed. I don't believe that they fall out of first. I just don't know what to think. I think with the Denver Nuggets, you just kind of have to play it by ear with the Denver Nuggets and just see who they're matched up against. Right? If they get a favorable matchup, I'll pick them to move on. But if they don't get a good matchup, I don't know if I can really pick them to just move forward like that. I think there's a lot of teams that could beat Denver in the playoffs. He says, Duck-O-Matic, we're going to get to the Blazers. We're going to get to the Blazers. And again, salute to everybody for pulling up today. As soon as I finish out talking about the bottom of the West, I'm going to drop the link and actually go ahead and prepare that now. I'm going to drop the link and allow some of you guys to come in as towards the end of the show so we can, you know, get y'all thoughts on this seeding. Because I think it's going to be different. I think the way we see it now is not going to be the way it pans out. I don't think it's going to finish out that way. All right. So if the playoffs started today, the play-in game would be Golden State versus Minnesota, while OKC plays the Lakers, which will be OKC versus the Lakers will be very interesting. I think that game would just come down to seeding. If it's in LA, I got LA. If it's in OKC, I got OKC. I would still have to just kind of favor the Lakers, though. But man, that's just tough. The way OKC's played them, it doesn't seem like the Lakers have had an answer for the OKC guards. But OKC seems to struggle with the Lakers whenever they have AD. And that just seems like something they don't have an answer for. Jared says, Lamont, do you hate MJ? I don't know. Jared, why are we talking about MJ? What's going on with MJ, man? What's going on with MJ? Just Blaze said we in the 6th seed. Who's we? Why you say we, Just Blaze? Like I know who's we is. Oh, are you talking about the Warriors? Okay. I don't know why. What I'm looking at right now, they got the Warriors at the 7th spot, even though they're seated at 6. So I don't know. Maybe that's just a mistake, but we'll see how it pans out. We'll just see because even the play-in games aren't even a lock, right? And if Golden State has to play in the play-in game, I don't see them losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I just don't see it. The only way I see them losing the Minnesota Timberwolves is if they have to play them on the road, which I don't think they'll drop that far. Denver's so overhyped. Yeah, I need to pump the brakes on calling them overhyped. And the reason why you want to pump the brakes on calling Denver overhyped is because they can actually defend. That's the problem. A team that can actually defend has a chance. If they were all offense like the Sacramento Kings, you would have a point. But they actually got defenders. They can actually go defend. We got Hudson, Maine, 87. He says, Shea ain't that dangerous, people. All right. The man is averaging a whole bunch of points per game. The man can single-handed. And I'm not saying any elite scorer like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is dangerous if you have to play them in a one-and-done setting, Hudson. I'm not saying Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is going to go out there and win you a 7-game series. But if you put OKC in a play-in game where it's one and done, he can go win one game with a great performance. He might not be able to win and string together 4 good games to win a playoff series, but for one game NCAA tournament style, that's all it takes. Fair game with TJ says, disagree. Denver's sweet. I just don't think they are. I mean, I know y'all want to attach this to Jokic, but they actually defend this year. Like, I'm never going to cancel out a team that can defend. I can't do it. I can't just push that to the side. Now, in previous years when we were talking about Utah at the top of the West, well, it was clear that they couldn't defend and they were shooting a ton of threes. And they relied heavily on the 3. So no defense and you rely on the 3. Bad combination for the playoffs. But I don't see that with this Denver team. They good defense. They can play in the half court and they can play fast. Those are things that kind of translate well in the playoffs. I mean, as much as you don't like them, you don't have to like them. But, I mean, it is what it is. I believe Denver can get – I believe Denver might be a shoo-in for the Western Conference Finals. As long as they can avoid a team like the Lakers in the first round. I think that's the worst matchup possible for them. Yeah, SGA is going to be all NBA. Probably first team. I don't know what guards are in the conversation for NBA first team, but he's definitely first or second team. And so we got teams on the bubble in the Western Conference, y'all. We got the Utah Jazz, who are still just on that borderline. The Pelicans are also on that fringe as well. And then you got the Blazers, the Blazers are about 3 games behind all those teams. So I believe the Blazers are going to be the first out. Obviously, the Spurs and the Rockets are mathematically already eliminated. So those 2 teams also as well are in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. Do you guys believe the Jazz can make a push? Can they run off a string? They have the firepower to do it. but they have the third hardest schedule remaining in the NBA. The Pelicans have the seventh hardest schedule, and the Blazers have the 14th hardest schedule remaining right there. So that's what we got right there. Let me drop this link. I'm gonna let y'all come in here and cook on this. Like I said, not gonna be live too much longer, but I definitely want y'all to come in and give y'all thoughts on this. Let me drop this link into the panel. As I drop this link into the panel, you guys make sure you guys take time if you have the means to do so. If you have the means to support, man, hit the Cash App to support the channel, $ FYF Sports, man. Any donations that you give are much appreciated. It all goes back into the production of the shows. And like I said, it's just a supplement. YouTube's ad revenue policy changes where, like I said, they've essentially eliminated our ability to really make good money off of ad revenue. So again, anything you guys do to support the channel, man, is much appreciated. Salute to Cam the Hooper, Devontae, Noah E. Noah E says, Jokic gonna have a Dirk first round exit. Oh man, I don't know. Just depends on matchups. So, with my mood, what's good, man? What you got on this?
What's up? What's up? How you doing, man?
Not too bad.
Well, to me, I have no faith in the Lakers. I have no faith in the Pelicans. I see the Thunder being a problem. They gave us a very hard fight in the last game. I'm a Clipper fan. Well, I can say I'm a Kawhi fan first. Then because of him, I supported the Clippers. But as I was saying, Shea went for like 10 of 15 or something like that. So that guy can shoot, and he can shoot efficiently. So I don't understand why people be taking him for light. That dude been dangerous all year. I don't understand. So
somebody typing or something? I'm hearing clicking or something.
Yeah. That's me. I'm working on my computer. My bad.
All right.
So as I was saying, he needs to get some respect right now. And and as you said, the Thunder have like a light schedule, same as the Lakers, right?
Yep, the Thunder have a pretty easy schedule to finish out as well.
Yeah, so from that point, I think they have a better chance than the Lakers. I still have no faith in AD. I tried so hard on many other channels that I joined to say, yeah, I have a faith in AD right now, but he's too inconsistent for me. So sorry for any Laker channel or Laker fan out there, but I don't trust him. I don't trust the guy. I'll leave it to the other panelists.
Why do people say he's inconsistent? What is inconsistent? What is he doing that's inconsistent?
Doesn't show up. Sometimes he give you a teenager. Sometimes he goes off. That's the thing.
But what's the most recent example of that?
Man, I have to go back and check. I live in another country, so time messed up with me because I have to wake up 6, 7 a.m. and watch the games. So it's kind of fuzzy in my memory.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think a lot of people are hard on AD, man. AD's had a really good season this year.
Oh, Anthony Davis. Yeah, he's having a good season, I guess. I want to say he's inconsistent, but I say it's more of a motor type of thing because, like, the game, forgot what game they lost. He had like 14 points. Even though it's a couple of games ago, I was saying that, Orlando, I was saying that you can't have these type of games at this moment of the season because it is so crucial. So I understand this point because they was at the 6th seed. Let's say they win 2-3 games ago. They're in the 6th seed and they lose their out the play-in. So these games are kind of crucial. So I understand the frustration from the fans at that point because it is a crucial part of the season. But I wouldn't say he's inconsistent. I would just say his health been the only thing people can say is about his health throughout these last couple of years, and that his shot hasn't been the same. But AD has been really good in the season. If you watch the Lakers, he's the anchor of the defense. He makes that defense way better, as you see in the Houston game. Without him, they had no rim protection, and with AD, they have a lot of rim protection, and they play well around AD because AD is a really good player. He can play the defense as their focal point, and I think that's the plan. That's always been the plan, but the health has been the issue with the Lakers the past 2 years because you notice when LeBron wanted to pass torch AD because he was playing the point guard, spoon feeding him. It's just been the health game. if a healthy Lakers team is really dangerous, and if they would have had this team all season, we will see them in a different light.
No, I agree. What you got on just the playoff race in general, not just the Lakers?
Oh, the playoff race, man! I'm excited this year because there's gonna be such an entertaining playoffs this year. I'm really excited. I'm an OKC fan. I'm surprised that we in it. I'm not gonna lie, Lamar. I'm surprised that we in it. I didn't know we was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like 12, but Shea and all them surprised us. But the West is really. I'm gonna go with Denver out of respect for them because they're the 1 seed. But I do think Phoenix will come out the West ultimately because I think they're the best team. And Golden State, I'm kind of off on Golden State because people are living off a name brand, but because they haven't been playing that well at all because they've been very inconsistent. You can't win if you can't win on the road. You can't win a championship. That's fact. That's point blank simple. And without Andrew Wiggins and GP, it's gonna be tough. And I have Boston coming out, but I'm gonna change my pick to Philly.
Oh yeah, I did too. I mean, when I look at I'm trying to think outside the box this year. I'm just trying to think, okay, what do they do that translates better to the playoffs? I think Phoenix tricked us if we were actually paying attention over the last couple of years. A lot of the things that they do well in the regular season don't translate well. Obviously, Utah. I mean, but teams like Golden State, Boston improved dramatically defensively last year going into the playoffs. That translates as well. So Philly, they defend. They can play a lot of half-court basketball. They're doing everything that they need. It translates well. There's more balance this year. James Harden's not taking a ton of threes. He's more of a facilitator. He's keeping Embiid happy down there, feeding him the ball, letting him work. But they can also be very inconsistent.
True. Yeah, that's the only thing. They can't be inconsistent. I don't know. For some reason, I just have a good feeling about this Philly team because they just with the reason you just gave the half-court offense. I love the defensive versatility they have with PJ Tucker, D'Anthony Milton, McDaniels. Also, you got Embiid, and I feel like Tyrese Maxey is going to be an X factor because he showed us some. He showed us a really good stuff in the playoffs last year against Toronto in some games against Miami. I feel like James Harden with a full year acclimated will have them comfortable. I think they're a good. Obviously, if they face up with Boston, for some reason Boston got their number, so that's gonna be a tough matchup always for them. But I feel like they match up well with Milwaukee to kind of match that size and match because you're not gonna stop Giannis, but I feel like that the personnel to kind of slow him down a little bit if need to be.
Let me give a salute to Edward in the Cash App, man. Salute. Make sure when y'all send your Cash App donations, make sure if you can put your YouTube name so I can at least give you your proper shout out. But yeah, that's all we got right now. We got the locker room and we got Edward in the Cash App today, man. Salute to both of y'all. Mingo Jester, what you got on the playoff race, man? As the I want y'all all to tell me what are y'all looking like? What conferences you looking at most? And what team are you kind of really monitoring? Because there are some teams where I feel like if they don't make the playoffs, I'm not talking about the play-in. If they don't make the playoffs, then they're going to have to go into the offseason really thinking about making major changes to their roster. What are y'all keying in on? I'm going to start with Mingo Jester. What are you keying in on?
I want to say the Mavericks. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, Mingo Jester, he ain't with us right now. Go ahead, Chris.
Now, you good. I was going to say, I don't think the Mavericks are going to make the playoffs.
Why you say that, Mavs?
I really think
they're reeling. They are reeling right now.
Well, yeah, because in their last 19 games, they're 8-11. And I know it's them as a duo, Kyrie and Luka, they've got a losing record, but it's not really because they can't close games. It's because they can't get the proper stops. And even if they did make the play-in, for example, they just don't have the necessary talent to even stop nobody on the other hand, especially down the stretches and close games. I don't have an issue with them closing so much.
Hey, Chris, something's going on with your mic, Chris.
I thought that was my shit.
What?
No, that's Chris's mic. Chris, your mic's messed up.
Oh, shit. Hold up. Let me try coming back in a little bit.
All right. What up, T Streets, man? What you got on this, man?
What's good, Lamont, man? Hey, I'm going to keep reminding you when you talk about these playoffs how you had my boys down and out.
Who? What I said?
Man, come on. You know your predictions before the season started. You said you had the Grizzlies missing the playoffs.
No, I said I had them regressing.
Man,
Did I say it's gonna miss?
yes, you had us missing the playoffs. You had the fucking Minnesota Timberwolves and the Portland Trail Blazers over the Grizzlies before the season started. And I told you what was gonna happen with them teams. Rudy Gobert and Cat has not gelled like people thought they would.
Cat was injured. He missed 51 games, man.
He was injured, but even when he was playing, they still wasn't playing at the level everybody expected them to play at. And I mean, Portland Trailblazers, just being the Portland Trailblazers, it's hard for me to watch Dame and how his legacy is going because I don't know. I've seen a couple statements he put out there, and it looked like he just basically gave up on the season. I feel like they still got a chance, and I feel like he should still play the season out. But I mean, hey, if the field is not there to play at 100%, then why play? But the team I'm kind of looking for this season in the playoffs, in particular, is the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, you've had them being favorites year after year after year, and it seems like the teams is not panning out or they're not having the luck of the draw. I know I've heard stuff that Tyronn Lue is kind of shaky if he's going to be the next head coach. Of course, you know what I'm saying, you have your injury woes with PG being out for a lengthy period of time. I mean, something he'll be back before the regular season's over. I don't think he will be. And I mean the team, they playing good now, but it's kind of hard to see them two guys as a duo playing in the future since they haven't got it done in the past. So the Clippers, I'm definitely looking at them, seeing how they'll shape up their team next year. And on the East, it's for me, I mean, it's like if you're not them top 3 seeds in the East, Bucks, Philly, or Boston, I mean, no other team matters. I mean, I give Miami a shot just because they're a veteran-led team, and they tend to give teams problems in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I don't really see them coming out the East. It's going to just be all about matchups over there. I haven't really looked at the seeding to see which team is seeded to see who will come out the East. But if I would bet my money on it, I would definitely bet the Bucks to come out. Boston's, they started hot beginning of the season. I mean, they kind of cooled down a little bit. Philly, you know, even though they've been playing good ball, I just feel like it's going to come to a certain point of time in the playoffs where they're going to show up as a Philly team, you know what I'm saying, with Harden and Embiid there. But I could definitely see them going to the conference finals finally with them guys. But I think they'll lose against the Bucks. And for the West, I mean, it's hard to say. It's wide open. I mean, any team that's playing a good stretch of ball and have a healthy team can definitely come out the West. As far as my squad, I definitely got us going to the Western Conference Finals coming out. And I don't know. I'm not sure. We definitely dealing with a couple of injuries, but I mean, we've been playing good ball so far. Jaren Jackson, the leading candidate of DPOY. I don't know why they're trying to throw the Brooke Lopez narrative in there that he's the favorite to win it. There's no case for him at all. Jaren Jackson, he's been playing good ball. Last 5 games, I think he's averaging over 30 points. With Ja being out, I think it kind of opened up Jaren's potential. He's not being stuck in the corner like he was with Ja on the floor. They're actually using him in the mid post. They're actually having him drive to the basket, putting rim pressure on the big man on other teams. And it's just it's always been there because, you know what I'm saying, as a 7-footer playing the 4 position, I mean, it's not a lot of guys with his size at that 4 position. So damn near every game is almost like a mismatch for him. And I think Giles kind of realized that, and that's why he asked to come off the bench because he doesn't want to mess up the team's flow. But I feel like if, you know what I'm saying, they come with that hunger and come with the edge in the playoff, I think they can make a long run. Now, with the Lakers, I've been hearing, I don't think Bron's coming back. I know that, you know, it was reports out there that he might be back for the last 10 games, but Brown already came and shut that down. But I'm hearing that, you know what I'm saying, that he's not going to be back until the playoffs, not even a play-in. If the Lakers make the playoffs, that's when we'll see LeBron on the floor again. And I don't know. We just got to see what they do. I mean, I think they got New Orleans tonight. Nah, they got OKC tonight. Hopefully that team can play to their full potential and beat OKC. And I mean, that's it, man. It's definitely gonna be a good playoffs series in the West for sure. And I think it's gonna definitely be exciting starting with the play-in, man.
Yeah, I like it too, man. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. People acting like it ain't nothing, man. People getting mad. Like Mingo, you said you didn't like the play-in. Why
No,
you
I
don't
don't.
like it? Why?
I don't like the play-in at all.
It would be boring right
Listen,
now without.
I like the old way of doing things. You make the top 8 seeds in both conferences, and that's it. If your team not good enough to make those top 8 seeds, then that means you wasn't good enough during the season. That's how I look at it.
So
the play-in, it just add extra to the season. Yeah, it does. You see more games, you get more games, but other than that, to me, it's useless in my opinion.
I kind of agree with Mink on that point because it's like you're rewarding teams that hasn't made the top 8. You know what I'm saying? At least top 10, still a chance to make the playoffs.
No, but what it does is, like, so for example, let's say a team star player was injured for the first half of the season and they don't do as well, but then the second half of the season, they get better. They get to that like 9th or 10th spot, but because they started off so bad, because they got healthy late, they don't have a chance to get in. Now, those teams that get better late can get rewarded. Those teams that are finishing out the season strong, now do you have a reason to finish out the season strong? Because normally what we would see is teams around this time, this is when they would start tailing off, tanking. They would start sitting players. Then they bringing in G League guys. Now a lot of these games aren't entertaining or competitive. And then with the NCAA tournament, ain't nobody really going to be even focused on the NBA for probably 2-3 weeks until the playoffs hit because it's all meaningless games. I think they just added a meaning or purpose to the end of the season. And so now it matters. Now teams like the Bulls are sitting at the 10th spot with some really good players can make a push and get in.
But I disagree with that. And the reason why I disagree with that is it's called a whole entire season. It ain't just called the second half of the season. It's called a full season. That's the reason why we play these games. That's the reason why they play these games. It's because it's the first half of the season, All-Star break, second half of the season.
Well,
and just because your star player was hurt the first half of the season, that's nobody's fault. That's not the NBA fault because your star player was hurt the first half of the season. So just because your star player was hurt, you should be rewarded extra games to get in the playoffs. No, make it make sense.
It's not. It's just they had to find a way because it's a business. It's not about what we think is fair to teams. The NBA's thinking at it from a monetary perspective. Okay, around this time of year, viewership decreases, and then they have to look at, okay, why is viewership decreasing around this time of year? Is it because of March Madness? Is it because of the tournament? Or is it because we have a whole bunch of teams that don't have nothing to play for, and a lot of them start tanking, bringing in G League guys, sitting their stars, and most of these games start becoming meaningless. And they're basically saying, how can we find a way to make these games have meaning and purpose, and we keep a little bit of the viewerships, even though the NCAA tournament is going on? They have to look at it from the business side of it. Now, I'm just saying, from the business side of it, it makes sense. I don't think that dang near the entire league should have an opportunity to make the playoffs. I think you have to earn your way there. Y'all right there. It's not fair. But from the business side of it, I understand why they're doing it. And this is only because teams, like you said, Mingo, the whole season matters, not just the beginning, but the end also matters. So the NBA is saying, we're going to make you play from start to finish. And it's going to be competitive from start to finish. Now you better be mindful. If you're in that 7th spot, you better not start to tail off. You might be sitting around 10th spot, and you be in a playing game. You might not make the playoffs altogether, so you better stay competitive.
Yeah, also, Mingo, I agree, and I can see here, and you make good points. But also think about this standpoint, because like this is the West is a perfect example this season. It's super, super close, and so it kind of makes sense because these teams are kind of all equal. So it's not like it gives her a chance to see, okay, it's one game. Let's see who can really get in. And if you really are that good to be in the play-in, the play-in's been, and for these last 3 years, the play-in's been right. Every team that been in play-in that should won. And there's been some upset like the Grizzlies over the Warriors the year. The Warriors missed it when it was the 8th seed, and the Grizzlies came through even though. So the plan has been right for these last couple of years because the best team has won, has given us some good matchups, and ultimately, I feel like it has been a success lately. I understand if it's like a gap year. Let's say the 7th seed has 40. Let's say the 7th seed has 40 wins, and the 9th seed has like 30 something wins. That I understand, and the 7th seed lose. I can understand, especially if you're the fan of the team. Be like, my team is obviously better. Why do we have to play in a game for a playoff spot when we're obviously the better team all season versus like when we're very close, it's only a 2-game, 1-game difference, or we're at the same record. Now we're in the playing game. I understand it from that standpoint. So I don't think the playing has been a negative so far. I think, like Lamont said, has brought some more parity to the league and more game excitement because like look at the Mavericks. They lost a couple games and it looked like they might be out the playoffs in general, not just the play-in, but out the playoffs. It's been that close this year. So I think the play-in is necessary, especially for a year like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 or 3 wins. You know what I'm saying? It don't necessarily mean that you're the better team or the best team. I mean, we've seen it throughout NBA history. Teams with the better record don't always win a championship. You know, it's not every number 1 seed or every number 2 seed that wins every year. I mean, then we see it last year. Golden State, I believe, was what? The number 4, 5th seed or something like that?
3 seed.
The number 3 seed.
But they were really the number 1. Remember, they got hurt at the end of the year, and that's what hurt them. They dropped.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Draymond and Steph got hurt, and Clay was just kind of by himself out there when he came back. So, I mean, things can change. That's what I'm saying. Injuries can change how this finishes out. I'm not for sure. I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about the Clippers. I don't even know if I could trust the Clippers, man. I don't know, man.
I'm the same way. I can't trust them. Like on paper, they look really good. Like they look like they should come out the West, but it's like something about it. It's like they're cursed. Honestly, it's like the Clippers are cursed. I don't know what it's about them.
Yeah, like what my mood still up here, Lamont?
Yeah,
yo,
still there.
Hey, what's up?
Yo,
What's
let me
good,
get my take real quick.
Oh yeah, my bad, Sturdy. Oh, you got a different picture, profile pic. I didn't missed it. What you got on this, Sturdy?
Yeah, salute everybody. I'm not gonna give my championship predictions until the playoff starts, but the team I'm looking out for in the West are 2. I'm looking out for the Suns and the Grizzlies. Before this week is specifically, I only have 4 contenders come out the West. I'm taking Golden State out of my contenders list, and I'm replacing them with the Grizzlies. The Warriors cannot get out the West without Wiggins. That 3-and-D wing is very pivotal in terms of their point of attack and switchability and versatility for their defensive schemes. The fact they don't have Wiggins, they still a dangerous first round opponent for anybody. But the following series after that, you're gonna see the effect of missing Wiggins. You want to see against teams like the Suns, in my opinion, the Grizzlies, that without a guy that size to at your point of attack to slow down Devin Booker or Kevin Durant, even Ja, is going to be a huge problem for the Warriors. I don't think they can get out the West without Wiggins. In regards to the rest of the contending teams, I'm just going to wait until the seedings really cement themselves. Then I'll give my predictions because I believe the Nuggets can beat. I do believe the Nuggets can beat the Clippers. I do believe the Nuggets can beat the Suns, but the series between the Grizzlies is a pick'em. I do believe the Grizzlies can beat the Clippers. I do believe they can beat maybe they can beat the Nuggets, but I don't think they can beat the Suns. And that's just how it is for the Western Conference. It's very matchup dependent. So, like I said before, for the West, those are the 2 teams I'm looking out for: the Grizzlies and the Suns. For the Clippers, it's unfortunate what happened to PG. That just add another monkey wrench to everything. Now he's going to get reevaluated a couple weeks, so it's not even guaranteed that he'll be back for the playoffs. The team I'm looking at the East is actually Boston. I personally believe Boston will have a hard time against Philly if they give up the second seed. If they face Philly in the second round where Philly have the home court advantage, I don't think Boston can beat Philly with Philly having the home court advantage because they're still showing the same bad habits they did last season. Not so much with the turnovers, but more so with their late game execution. They're more dependent on the three ball than they are with their defense. And if you've been watching Jason Tatum, when he doesn't get his initial reaction, he doesn't get his rim pressure, he settles for contested three-point shots. And instead of establishing reposition again or maybe creating for another person, helping the offense stay fluid, every time when you stagger the Celtics' initial offensive set, they always resort to isolation ball. And in the playoffs against teams like the Sixers, especially the Bucks, you're not going to get out the East. I personally believe no matter who gets out the East, whether it be Philly, the Bucks, or Celtics, they taking the chip. The East is beating any team that's came out the West. Period. And last thing too, for those that's close to the play-in, A, deal with it. It ain't going nowhere. B, unless you be person, I don't understand. If you didn't have a problem with teams making the playoffs with a losing record, why do you have a problem with the play-in? That never make any sense to me. I always had a problem with teams making it that you played 82 games, you still have a losing record, and it just so happens you have the 8th best record, you still can make the playoffs. That never sat well with me. So if you had a problem with if you didn't have a problem with teams losing record make the playoffs, I don't see you have a problem with the play-in. I remember those years when towards the end of the season, since the play-in, less teams tank. In addition to that, most importantly, there's more exciting games. The most viewed regular season game a couple years ago was a play-in game.
Yeah, sure.
So, and most importantly, for certain teams that would have missed the playoffs or perhaps needed some extra playoff experience, it helps them out. Like the Memphis Grizzlies, they were a benefactor as well as a team that benefited from the play-in situation. So I don't see nothing wrong with play-in. For those who complaining about it, deal with it. It ain't going nowhere. It's making the league extra money. It's giving us way more exciting games, and most importantly, the same concept that people have in terms of like the unstability of a 7-8 seed losing their potential spot. You still have an advantage. If you are the 7th seed, you lose 2 home games to an inferior team, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Like, people forget that. If you're the 9th or the 10th seed, you have to win 2 games to get into the playoffs.
I agree.
That's it.
No, I agree right there. I mean, like I said, it's pros and cons to it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it might be more good than bad, but I understand how it could potentially be unfair for teams that have fought for that 8th spot. And that used to be that used to be the cutoff line. You either get the 8th spot or you don't. So I understand how it's not fair, but like Sturdy said, you just gotta win some home games, right?
And if you don't like how unfair it is, just be a top 6 record in your conference. Simple. You don't have to deal with it. And from a spectator standpoint, Lamont, if you are a 7th seed and you lose 2 home games to quote unquote inferior teams, why would I watch you 4 games at minimum 4 games against a better team? You know, know what I'm saying? It don't make any sense. But that's it. I do believe this playoffs, though, with all the injuries and whatnot, I think it's going to be a very competitive playoffs on both conferences.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I'm gonna be tuned in. But hey, y'all, before we shut this one down, make sure y'all if you're in the chat, I know a lot of y'all. I know Jamel Casino. You be betting a lot, man. Make sure y'all go sign up for Prize Picks, man. Special code for FYF Sports subscribers, man. You get your deposit matched up to $1,000. I mean, that's like free money to bet with. You just might just do your deposit. I mean, some of y'all just deposit. And Prize Pick, what's different about Prize Picks? It's not a sports book. You just betting on the over and under points, over under assists, over under rebounds. right? You put together your ticket parlay at 2 picks, 3 picks, 5 picks, 6 picks, and just go with the odds from there. And it really just basically testing your game to game basketball knowledge. It ain't diving too deep into it, right? You ain't gotta pick no winners of games. You just gotta pick what a player's performance might be on a game to game basis. And it's not bad. I've hit a few times on there. I've come close to winning big on there. So make sure y'all check out Prize Picks, man. Just so y'all know, again, I know this live today is not as long as we want it to be. But hold on, Jamel Casino. What did he say? He said over. Hey, hold on, Jamel, you got to come on, man. Tell us what the pick of the day is. Help people make some money today, Jamel. Because I'm gonna start my fantasy sports show. So you got to help people get some money, man. What's the pick of the day? You keep coming here telling us you got all these picks. You hitting. Hold on, let me drop the link for Jamel Casino, man. See if he can get us some picks for the day.
Hey, Lamar, who you think gonna be the MVP this year?
And I think it's gonna go to Embiid, but I think Giannis. I think Giannis deserves it though. But it's probably gonna go to Embiid due to like a sympathy vote, because like it's almost like a pity vote, because people keep saying that he missed out on it. He lost out to Jokic twice. But then this year, I mean, Giannis already has one, so why give him another one? It's just, but I mean, Embiid's having a good year. They look best player on the best team. Best player.
Hey, Lamar,
on the
did
best
you see
team.
that? Oh, sorry.
But one of the best teams. They're not better than the Bucks. But I just don't know. Well, hold on. What you ask?
And then Giannis has more points, more assists, more rebounds than Embiid, so I don't get it.
Don't Embiid average 33 points a game? And Giannis average 31?
I think so. I think it's changed since I did that post.
No, I was gonna ask you. Did you see that Kansas State game?
Mm-hmm.
He's cold. That point guard is cold. I can't even lie.
Bro, that play call they ran in overtime, bro, when the point guard act like he was arguing with the coach and they threw the lob.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm like, nah, that's the craziest thing I've seen in March Madness in a minute.
That's a goated play. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try it. I promise you, I'm gonna try it. Watch, and I'm gonna try it. And I all our games from the rest of the year on out is all recorded. If I can pull it off, I'm definitely gonna be playing it. But that's crazy.
Lamar, you ain't got nobody on your team that can dunk though.
That's not true, bro. My whole team can dunk. Everybody.
That's nasty. That's a nasty take.
Nah, everybody on my team dunking. Even my shooter who ain't even athletic, he getting up. They in the layup line, they be going crazy. They be putting the fear of God in teams in the layup line.
So you saying you got a team full of 6'5" wings?
They mostly like 6'4", 6'3", and my tallest is 6'7". Now last year was the year where I had my 6'8" beast. I had, I'm talking about he was putting everybody in the basket down low, but he moved on. He went to Edmonds. He went to Edmonds College in Washington. Now he's about to he just committed to Eastern Washington.
Yo, Lamar, who you got for MVP?
Man, I would still give it to Jokic, man.
Man, give it to the white boy, man.
I'm not even about that, man. But I'm just saying where where he has his team, the numbers he's putting up and how he's doing it. I mean, to me, that's crazy. But I mean, you can't go wrong. Embiid, Jokic, or Giannis. There's people gonna get mad at whoever you get an MVP to. It's gonna be talking points and narrative, so it don't matter. But
me personally, I know Embiid is having a great season, but it feels like they're giving it to him just because he don't got one.
Yeah, it's like a sympathy. It's like a sympathy.
Because all the talking points I'm hearing for Embiid, you can apply it to Giannis. Matter of fact, it applies more to Giannis. Great stats, best player on the best team. Team got the best record. His second best player has missed half the season and just got minute restriction like a week ago. And like that's what I'm saying. Like, and just like Embiid, he's also having a historical season. So he's a better defender. He's put up better rim protecting stats. He's a better playmaker. Even though, like you put up Lamont, even though Embiid is averaging more points per game, per 36 is actually Giannis. In addition to that, Embiid might be a better scorer in a regular season, but hold on. He might be a better scorer in the regular season, but he's yet to show the same level of scoring that Giannis has shown in the postseason. So I just think there's more. The criteria fits Giannis more so than it does Embiid, to be honest with you.
Hey, Stir, you know what else? It's crazy. It's because like he's finished second. Because I think about it, Embiid might because here's the Embiid story: second in MVP, but also he hasn't made an all defense, all NBA first team because you know why? Giannis Jokic. Even this year, he might. Let's say he wins MVP, he might not make the all NBA first team. He could be like one of the first MVPs to win it and not make an all NBA first team because of Giannis Jokic. He didn't even make an all-star starter because of the criteria because of Giannis. So it's like he's like the Kevin Durant right now, always finishing in second. So I think people feel bad for that because let's say we go back in history a couple years, we know how good Embiid is. But if we just go look at like, oh, he finished second team, he can never get this. He's always second. It's kind of like the Ewing kind of thing. Like he's really, really good, but he's in an era with guys who are just as good as him or slightly better. He's finished in second, so I agree that people probably feeling bad because like we know how good he is, but it's just unfortunate right now.
That's very true. Hold on, we got Ralph in the backstage. Slew, one cool piece. Slew, A Weezy Bang pulled up in the chat. He said they dunking like that. Yeah, my squad is nice.
Middleton only played 28 games so far this year.
I just had to pull up because the BS I just spewed about the MVP.
What's wrong with our opinions?
Because first of all, is your second best player not being there? They ain't got nothing to do with MVP. First of all, most valuable player is singular person, one person. So all that he ain't got his second best player. That's crap and don't mean anything. Second of all this Patrick Ewing BS, that's another BS narrative that means nothing. And it ain't true. You're talking about the first center scoring champion since Shaq. What's that, almost 20 plus years? And you're talking about a back-to-back scoring champion right now. So put some respect on his name. Second, how because the team's doing better standing wise by 2 games, Bucks that Giannis deserve it. Well, let me tell you something that y'all should know. Who's the better scorer? Who's the better level scorer? Giannis or Embiid? Embiid.
In the regular season, it's Embiid, yes.
No. We seen Embiid score 30 plus. 30 points and averaging 30 in the playoffs. Just because he didn't, that's the same thing. But now is he a better scorer, whatever. But when it happened to Luka, when he was doing only one and done round, oh, he's the greatest scorer in the playoffs since LeBron James or whatever. Now, y'all talking up the side of y'all necks when it comes to two people doing the same thing.
Ralph, I got Embiid as the MVP. I'm not saying he's gonna get it because of that. I'm saying how people view it. Like people do feel bad for MVP because he is second. I'm not saying that's how I feel, but that's generally how people feel. That's actually true. And I got Embiid as the MVP this season. And I know Embiid is a great scorer. I think their point is saying that Giannis has a better case, and that this year is very, very close. So I got Embiid as MVP, but I don't care who else has it.
Hey, and Ralph, before you finish, you was about to say defense, right? How we all know Giannis is a better defender than Embiid. And if you want to go by the metrics, Giannis protects the paint better than Embiid. Giannis is a better pick and roll defender than Embiid. And by isometrics and in the post, Giannis is holding his opponents to a lesser efficiency than Embiid. But you was about to talk about defense, Ralph. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Who's a better shot blocker?
Giannis.
Rim protector?
No, it's not.
Giannis is a better rim protector, bro. Giannis is a better rim protector, bro.
Yeah, he's a better shot blocker.
Giannis is actually not a better shot blocker. What's
sure about that? You sure about that,
Has
Ralph?
Giannis ever got 8 blocks? 5 or 8 blocks in the season in one game?
That doesn't mean you're a better shot blocker, bro.
I don't think so. As I was saying, he's the greatest scoring big man since Shaq. Like, Giannis is not a better defender, bro. Giannis cannot guard even the perimeter better than him.
Ralph, what are you basing it?
Hey, Ralph, I just put up the stats. The best rim protector in NBA by opponent field goal percentage. Giannis is number 1. Jaren Jackson number 2.
And
number 3. Brook Lopez number 4.
And Ralph, to your point, I double checked it for you, bro. Embiid never had 8 blocks in a game. He had 7. Just same thing as Giannis. But continue, bro.
When that hold on, what I was about to say. Making someone shoot a lower percentage don't mean that you're a better run protector.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means.
What?
That's exactly what it means.
It's crazy.
What is their shooting from that when they're wide open, or what's their average shooting from that spot right there in the regular season? What if they're a poor shooter from that spot anyway?
Ralph. Just get to this. Why the shit Joel Embiid should be MVP? Go ahead, bro.
And Joker ain't got a chance, bro. He don't even have the best record in this conference right now.
You're right. Giannis does. But go ahead, bro.
Okay, Giannis does. So does Tatum, and so does Embiid. But like, come on, bro. The defense is night and day. Well, all three of them. Well, them two compared to Joker. Like, okay, he's getting what 9 assists right now, or whatever. Okay, whatever, DK. Well, what's name is averaging like 5, almost 6. Giannis, assists a game. And B is averaging 4, almost 5 assists a game. Just because he's not even leading any category. Statistical
He's
category.
averaging 4 point. He's averaging 4.2 assists.
Bro, he's averaging 13 rebounds a game, ain't he?
Hey, Ralph, the same way he said the
is he the
defense
leading
is not.
rebounder in the league? No. Is he the leading scorer in the league? No. Is he the leading passer in the league? Assister? No.
Well, Ralph, though, even though there's
Ralph, then you just hear Ralph, then you just hear T Streets. He leads the league in rim, bro. That's a fact. You just heard T Streets. You just heard it.
Then moved on to Joker. What are you talking about? We're talking about Joker.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Giannis. My bad, bro. My bad. No, but once again, Ralph. Hold on, once again, Ralph. Why should Joel Embiid get MVP over Giannis? Go ahead, sir. That what you started off as, bro. You started the whole thing off. I just want you to finish that.
And I told you that. He's a better pure scorer. He's a better shot blocker. I mean, he averages more. I don't care what you're talking about, the field goal percentage or whatever. He averages more blocks per game than him. Like, come on, defending. You could, if y'all want to, y'all could say it's close, but that's all because neither wash each other. No matter what you say.
I have a quick question. Do you think Joel's a better player than Giannis?
This season, yes, because Joel played more games than him, 2 more games than him, and when like y'all cried about Joel Embiid being injured and hurt, but Giannis was on a stretch when how many games he missed? All-Star break. He missed a lot of games, and Embiid is having a historical, way better season scoring than any big man we've seen in damn near probably even Shaq in modern day history. Because how many games he scored? 30 plus? Player of the week. Like 30 and 10, how many games straight? With multiple 2 blocks, 3 blocks a game, and how many in them 33 games? They were scoring like 33 the whole month.
Hey Ralph, so I'm assuming that Joel Embiid is your pick for MVP, right?
Yeah. No one's having a better season than him in the NBA. I like.
So Jokic not having a better season than him, averaging triple-double as a big man. Shooting
He's
70%,
not. Wasn't they losing?
70% true shooting percentage.
Wasn't they losing?
Ralph, Giannis having
to win.
Ralph, Giannis not having this story. Ralph, Giannis not having a historical season, being the only player to average 30, 12, and 5, and being a top 5 defender in the league. That don't mean anything.
All 3 of them having historic seasons.
Now 5 assists matters.
I said he's the only
12.
player. I said he's the only player that will ever average 30, 12, and 5 for a season. That's historic, Ralph, right?
That's not historic. That's minuscule.
Ralph, when you do something that no other player done, Ralph, when you do something that no other player has done, that's the definition of historic.
Bro, that's not a major historical.
But what Embiid has done, Shaq's done before, but you saying that's historic.
What do you mean? He's gonna have more scoring titles than Shaq as the big man. What do you mean?
Actually, no. Shaq has 2 scoring titles.
No, he doesn't. He has 1.
Try again. Ralph, don't do this to yourself, bro. Ralph. Just save yourself. Shaq led the league scoring twice. Okay?
Has Shaq ever averaged 30 points in the regular season? No.
That don't mean
he has not.
Now we're done.
Scoring title though. You don't have to average 30 to have a scoring title back then.
Yeah, it was a different league.
Yeah, you don't.
Yes, you did.
Huh?
No, you did.
How many score titles have? Hold on. How many score titles will have scoring 30?
Bro, you went back like what? 50
No.
Wow.
How many scoring titles Jordan has scoring 30?
Bro,
I believe either 9 or 8.
Shaq was playing though, bro.
Shaq has 2 scoring titles. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like he has the same amount as your boy. Yes, same amount as your boy.
But Kobe had to score 35 just to get the damn
that
MVP
year
because it was so close. I mean my fault, keep slipping up. Scoring title. Dwayne Wade had to score 30 plus just to get it. It was that close. And B has to score these 30s a game because it's so close.
Ralph, what about KD? Ralph, what about KD? He got 4. How many times he had to get 30 to get 4? I'm asking you, how many times did KD had to average 30 to get 4 scoring titles? Only 2. Out of the 4 scoring titles, he got 2 of them without having 30.
So you're not.
The point is, Ralph, and Bradley Beal. I'm trying to explain to you, Bradley. I'm explaining to you, Ralph. Ralph, no, I'm explaining something to you. Even though Bradley Beal had back-to-back seasons of averaging 30, he never led the league in scoring. And leading the league in scoring is a year-by-year basis, bro. It don't mean you have to hit a certain number. It just means you have to hit a certain.
He won the scoring title.
Who?
Don't Bradley Beal has a scoring title. What are you talking about?
No, Bradley Beal has never led the league in scoring. He averaged 30 twice, but he never led the league in scoring, Ralph.
So who has a scoring title?
1 year with Steph. One year with Steph. I'm trying to look at the other year.
Okay, you corrected me. And how many points did Steph had to score?
Steph had like 32.
Okay,
and
my point there. He had to score 30. That's the whole point of this little mini convo.
All right, go ahead, Ralph.
Ralph,
go ahead, Ralph.
For the MVP case, so Ralph, do you agree that it is a 3-man race with Embiid?
No, I really think it's a 2-man race. I'm just throwing Joker in there because he's getting a triple-double, but last year is because of totals. Yeah. If you want to give
But he has
I'm
his team
fine
first
with Embiid
place
not getting
in
the
the
joint last
West.
year. You could have gave it to Giannis last year. Like, what more is he doing different from last year?
But he has his team first place in the West, and he's the best player
What
on
was
that
his
team.
place last season, Giannis?
Giannis was second.
Oh,
no,
didn't he have a better
the
record
Bucks
than
was
Joker?
second seed.
Didn't he have a better record than Joker?
Yeah, like this year.
And he's still putting up the same exact numbers.
But his team is winning more.
Let's see. How many games they had when they won last year? Let's see. Bucks last year.
Ralph, I'm not gonna lie, Ralph. Outside of scoring, you haven't really put up a good case for Embiid, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
So there's 51-31. No, I put up a great case. You just don't want to deal with the facts.
He said the Bucks were a third seed. That's what MT said in the chat.
Yeah, my bad. He was third seed. My bad.
31.
He says Giannis had a better record than Jokic every season of his career. That's what Skirvin said.
So, okay, he won one more game this season so far.
True said drop the link. I got you, True.
Y'all really ain't making no case for Joker.
No, I'm just saying he's in the conversation. Do I believe that he's gonna beat out Embiid this year? No. But he's in the conversation.
You know how many people ain't been in the conversation, average triple doubles for
I'm just saying
years?
When
Just
we talk
because
about
he's
the
a big. That's
but we're just talking about the MVP race. Everybody's gonna have opinion on who they got, and we know that your opinion is kind of swayed because you're a Sixers fan.
No, it's not.
But Ralph, you just did the same thing with Embiid. You literally started off by saying he's about to lead this league in scoring since Shaq, a center. So just how you said, because Joker is averaging triple double as a center, that's why he's getting extra bonus. You did the same thing for Embiid.
How many in these past couple years? How many people average 33? I'll wait.
33?
Only
two. Only two people.
Last year.
I just said only two people.
I said
only
last
two people.
Year. Nobody averaged 33 last year.
No one averaged 33, but this year only two people.
Okay. Thank you. My point. Me.
Go ahead. Yeah, you Sabres, bro. Who you got MVP? True. You got for MVP and why, bro?
Like, no. Here's the thing though. Like, nobody has a problem. You thinking and Joel Embiid should have win MVP. Nobody has an issue with that. Nobody has a problem with that. He have an amazing season, but like, no. But here's the thing though. You're not. But
shit about MVP.
No, Ralph. Let him give a take, bro. Let him give a take.
Well, I just got on though, and I was just got on the conversation when you basically saying that Jokic didn't deserve, like he doesn't deserve to be in the conversation. It's like, okay, but if you're an Embiid supporter, that doesn't look good, and you trying to support because it sounds like insecurities of you trying to defend Embiid for no reason. Yes, he's an MVP caliber season. You don't got to put another player down to showcase that. I don't understand that. Like, it just, I mean, if he's having a better season than, huh?
I said that based off them losing recently.
Man, I mean,
they've been losing
since still number one in the,
bro.
I mean, they're number one still in the West. I mean, still games still like there's still games left to be played. So,
and they're still losing with the games left.
But you saying that man should just don't deserve being in the competition at all? Like, come on, man.
No, it's a two-man race. It's a two-man race.
It's not. It's a three-man race, bro. That's not.
It is because y'all just saying because he averaged a triple-double. Like you're talking about, like I said, the two-time scoring champ back-to-back. When the last time we seen that?
Okay, but bro, you can't. But here's the. This hate comes with a say, which is amazing stuff, but that's where the hate comes from.
There's no hate.
Thing too though. You can't sit for a pair. You hear me now?
Yeah,
no, we hear you.
Yeah. But my thing is, you can't sit up there and give props to Embiid for making history, but then slight and discredit Jokic.
But he made history last year when y'all said the same history.
He,
Y'all said
but
he
he's
averaged
doing it.
triple
But
double
I mean,
and total. So y'all already gave
he
him
has
that.
the center record for assists per game in a season. He has the record. He break it. Wilt Chamberlain's record.
So now y'all just giving him just giving him records.
Nobody, bro. No, bro. Listen, bro. Nobody. Listen. If you feel though that Embiid or Giannis is higher than him, cool. But don't sit there and say he's not in the conversation, bro. Like,
I
you
literally
don't have
gave
to
him
hate,
that
bro.
same stamp. Y'all gave him that stamp as the
But
triple double last season.
but
Average a
listen.
triple.
Look.
Did it for
No,
the
nobody.
total.
No. Now you making stuff up. But you know what though?
As the
But
MVP.
this hate. But this hate though is underlying of you know how great Jokic is playing though. That's why you're doing this and try to discredit him.
Y'all just think y'all. He's not leading those major statistical categories.
That's a lot, Ralph. That's a lot, Ralph. He's leading in PR. It's a lot, Ralph. He's leading in PPP. It's a stat though. He's leading the stat.
I said major. It's not major PER.
PER is a major analytical stat.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, Ralph. Yes, it is,
I'm
Ralph.
talking about pure stat. Pure stat.
All right, bro.
Pure stats and analytical stats.
Bro, this is bro. You if you was a guy to like in court to defend Embiid and anything, you would look bad at being biased right now, bro. Like, I understand Embiid's your guy though, but you don't gotta be biased, bro. Like, he's having an amazing season. You know he's at. Listen, Embiid is having an amazing season, bro. Nobody's like, but PR is a major stat, bro. I don't know what you talking about. Like two of the.
When you go to NBA.com and all them other things, and you click major stats or whatever, it's not there.
Okay.
They made probably
So you going back? So you going basketball reference? PR is not on there.
Basketball reference ain't the land all
NBA.com. Okay. I mean, I guess.
Okay, so Ralph, if it's about major stats between Giannis and Embiid, who leads in more? Who's ahead in the major stats in more of the major stats?
Well, it's what's in it? I mean, actually, it's tied.
No,
it's not, bro.
He has
no,
scoring.
Stop.
Listen, Embiid has scoring, and
but now you be.
Let me finish, bro. He has rebounding and he has blocks per game.
Giannis has more rebound.
Chill real quick. You're talking, you're messing me up. I meant to say he has scoring and he has blocks per game. Now Giannis has assists over him, but he don't have overall assists. He has the block per game, but he don't have overall. This man has overall. He don't have overall.
Okay, who's a better defender? Who's a better? Who's a better defender? Who's going to make all defensive team? Embiid or Giannis?
Embiid's going to make it, and Giannis. They're both going to be first.
Embiid not going to make all defensive team.
Bro, he's going to be the off defensive center.
No, he's not. No, we can bet on that. No, he's not, bro.
What they going to do with the Brook Lopez?
Oh yeah,
Nick Claxton over him. You put Bam over him.
No, you
like,
can't.
Come on, bro. Like, he's not. These. All right, you just.
But according to this right here, Giannis just moved to number 1 in the Defensive Player of the Year ladder. So they're looking at Giannis as the best defender in the league. That could boost his overall MVP case.
You do. You use it.
But like I said, y'all couldn't wiggle y'all way out of that. You don't overall means over everybody. He's not towering over everybody.
But he has over Embiid.
Statistical.
So how do you? I have a question. So how do you judge? How do you judge MVP? No, but how do you judge him? So you judge MVPs based off major statistics.
What you own in the league, majorly. The foundation of the league is these statistical categories. That's what I judge MVP on.
Well, if that's your category, if that's your criteria, then your whole basketball logic, since I know you, was very inconsistent. So we can leave it at that.
No, don't try to bring everything else. Or would you?
No, I'm not going to do that. I just made that statement. If that's your theory, then everything you said in the past is very inconsistent. That's. I mean,
Giannis don't have ownership this year, or what's the name? I'm sorry.
Defense, not ownership.
Is he the leading block or leading?
Hold on, who's a better defender?
Like I said, shot blocker. Give that to Embiid all day.
No, he's
who's a better defender? All right, bro.
Who's a better blocker?
He's a better rim. Giannis is a better rim protector.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
This man owns the.
No, he don't. He don't own blocks per game.
I said
he don't own blocks.
And when I said blocks per game, I said just like rebounds, he has it over him, and he has it over him. That's what I said.
Giannis has more rebounds, and it's okay.
But when I talk about ownership, it comes down to who has more ownership.
So you're trying to tell me. So you're trying to tell me that, right? But so you're trying to tell me that logic. That logic is consistent on everything when you think about basketball. Your takes.
And then when I go into the he has the rebounds over Embiid. Well, I say, who's ranked higher in more categories, Embiid or Giannis? Well.
So Ralph, what's your criteria? Ralph, just tell us because everybody's criteria is different. What's your criteria for the MVP? Just stats?
He said major statistical stats. Those points, rebounds, still that's his criteria. But we all know, Lamont, that the text that he said in the past doesn't add up.
But they ain't got nothing to do with the award-wise.
Bro.
What?
I'm starting to believe that this is Fluent's burner channel or something, bro.
Lamont ducking Fluent. Come on, man. Lamont ain't ducking no damn Fluent. I ain't been on here for a minute. I don't know what's going on, but I know for damn sure Lamont ain't ducking no Fluent. That's light work. Come on now. I'll put a side bit on that. Like, come on.
Sturdy in the back.
Bro, I don't know why they keep talking about y'all be trying to make him so relevant over here, man. Bro.
Come on, Fluent.
I don't even know. I don't even know if has the best talking points on his own show. Oh, girl and Chill both.
He don't even say nothing like that.
He don't even have. Bro, she got better basketball talking points than he does. He's not even the best on his own show.
Damn.
That's a fact, though. Am I wrong?
That man said he called that man a side character. He called that man Krillin.
So it is what it is. I mean, he there. He got a nice little setup background.
So he getting carried. So he getting carried.
He getting carried for sure.
That's too, they had Shaq over there though.
That was dope though. I ain't gonna lie. That was definitely like a walk. Like
I didn't even know. No, but I didn't know that. Chill said that's his cousin. They cousins in real life.
Oh snap!
Yeah, I was listening. I'm like, damn, Jerome. Or something, yeah, but with they family, like, so that was wild to even hear that they was really related. Like,
you ain't never heard him talk about that though. He said it a few times.
Nah, I can't listen as much as I want to. I mean, I listen every now and then.
Yes,
I didn't listen enough to know that.
That's why I said I knew he wasn't captain because.
But I've seen him on ESPN. Like I've seen Chill on ESPN. Like I know he's had some like reach and pull in some of them circles.
Yeah, I've seen him too. Because the nigga looked like a ball player.
So you know it is what it is. Day. Yeah, they family. That's what's up though, man. I seen Shaq over there cooking. That's what's up.
Yeah, but he put all y'all Kobe hitters in y'all place. Bow down.
Bro, he ain't said nothing that he ain't never said before. You act like he broke some new.
No, I'm saying he said
it's just
it's
just his opinion. Okay, so hold on.
Hey,
so if everything that Shaq says is the Bible, I want you to remember that. If everything that he says about Kobe is the Bible, then I want you to take everything that he says about basketball as the Bible. And I want you to take that statement, the statement that he said where if LeBron James gets the scoring title, he's the GOAT. Run with that one too. I want you to run with all his statements.
What did he say?
I don't know. He didn't say nothing that he ain't said on no other platform. He just said the same little spiel about Kobe. Well,
as far as his placement in history or something?
Top 10. He said, I think they were talking about Kobe being top 10. Like, which I don't mind people having Kobe top 10. I just say there's a range for Kobe. I believe Kobe belongs in everybody's top 15. Wherever you have him in there, whether it's top 10, that's all preference based on how you view the game of basketball. But I don't care where you have him. I think there's a range for Kobe, and Kobe's generally in everybody's top 15.
And that's cat. That's just bias, recency bias.
What are you talking
Well, off your
about?
logic, but Rob, but wait, Lamar, you asked him, does that? But
teenager and as a kid.
Hey, Ralph,
had him in the top 5.
Hey, Ralph, what's recency bias?
I don't know what he's talking about.
You too recency bias. Now everybody is the shit on Kobe thing.
No, wouldn't it make more sense since he passed away? People rank him higher. Isn't that more of a recency bias versus ranking him where you had him, whether he dead or alive? Because Lamont didn't have Kobe in the top 15 before he passed away. He didn't move him based off him passing away like a lot of y'all did. That's not me saying you did, Ralph, but a lot of people did.
I know you're talking generally, my brother. I get you a salute to you, Khalil.
Yeah, salute, Ralph. Salute, Lamont. Salute to everybody on the panel. I mean, like I said, bro, I got Kobe. It's more of a bias on my end, putting him at 10 on my list, but I know this for a fact, bro. It's a lot of people that got Kobe top 10 all of a sudden. They didn't have him there before, man. They didn't. I mean, they had come out and be like, no, you lying and all that, that's cap. But a lot of people didn't, man. A lot of these guys, and I hear Lamont say this a lot, some of these guys used to actually crap on Kobe before he passed away. Like, I remember a lot of these videos and all this stuff. One of these dudes in this community used to dump on Kobe all the time. I used to watch his videos and kind of dispute what he was saying. But he would make videos all the time going at Kobe Bryant about his unselfishness and all of these different things like that. So I don't see him doing them videos no more. But at the end of the day, wherever you place him, he's still an all-time great player. Like, you can't take that away from him.
That's facts. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, man. Like I said, I understand why players like Shaq, guys that play with him, like obviously players got a different perspective, but from like the fan perspective, like Kobe was never just by a consensus looked at as a top 10 player. I don't recall that until after he passed, and that's when everybody started putting him in the top 10.
Y'all was saying he didn't even own ownership of the league at some point.
What?
Bro, I heard Kobe ain't never been the best player in the league ever.
Who said that?
No, I wouldn't say that, Ralph. I would say
that new criteria is nasty work too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't agree with that. I think that he was.
Well, yeah. Why are you saying ownership now?
I just don't think he was the best player for an extended period of time. Like, for like, you know how like players reign for like LeBron had like over a 10-year reign. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan over a 10-year reign. Like, Kobe didn't have over a 10-year reign as the undisputed best player in the NBA. And if he did, can somebody give me the time frame? Because I don't remember it.
I don't know. I think that comes in the winning biases because he wasn't winning.
No, you don't have to necessarily win a championship to be.
No, I'm talking about like his team wasn't winning any. Regardless, winning like he didn't. He was a top 5 player in the league and he didn't make the playoffs in this prime. That's what I'm saying about winning. He didn't make the playoffs, or he was the 7th seed or 8th seed. Like, but he was still like one top 5, top 2 at that time.
Yeah, but like to me, like when I see people place Kobe in the top 5, it's not even really about the MVPs. It's more so about what I just said. Like, in order to put a dude into your top 5, because you have to start nitpicking when you get to the top 5. Correct. Kobe, in my opinion, never reigned for a longer period of time to be considered a top 5 player. I mean, a lot of people like to say, oh, he only got 1 MVP and all this and that. Like, I don't really judge it off that. I didn't see you like dominate the league for like where everybody can be like that Kobe the best player in the league for an extended period. That's where it get dicey for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, everybody's top 5 is subjective, you know, but to me, he's not in my top 5 based off that alone. That's not even counting the other stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he would go on the scoring bench that we ain't see since damn near will.
And that's fine.
You could throw MJ in there, but he was on a better scoring bench than MJ.
I mean, because it was based off the lack of help that he had on his teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't doing all that stuff when Shaquille O'Neal, and it wouldn't have been wise for him to do with Shaq next to him. But most of those range you talking about, it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like you said earlier, the team wasn't productive.
Oh, no, he had a couple of them moments with Shaq, but it wasn't just.
It wasn't like all the time, though.
Yeah.
Like, how many points per game did he average with Shaquille O'Neal on the team?
28.
That's his average. They hold.
Oh, the average.
Yeah. Because his totals even out to 25 points per game. That's his totals for his career. So if you basing him being a top 5 player off of him dropping 50s and for a week straight and all this, like, I remember all that stuff. Like, Kobe was really good, bro. Like, I'm not, and like, people don't understand basketball for real, because if you say that Kobe Bryant is not a top 5 player, I haven't heard one person yet give me a credible reason why he is. Like, people talk about these proverbial rooms and all of this different stuff, but Kobe don't meet the qualifications to be in those rooms. Into that all-time top 5 room. Like, I haven't heard one person yet, SFM, as much as he loved Kobe Bryant, I haven't heard him yet say anything logical that'll put him in a 21.9. Okay. Like, I just need somebody emotionally attached Kobe fan, because I'm a Kobe fan. I'm just not emotionally attached to him. So for the people that is, I just want to hear a credible reason why he in the top 5. Will that change where I place him in history? No. But I at least want to understand why people got him there. Because all people keep saying,
because you got to depend on what's their top 5. Y'all got to come to a conclusion. What's the top 5 without Kobe?
This LeVon Bradshaw guy said Kobe beat the Celtics super team by himself. No, he didn't.
No,
and that's another thing. Y'all always make up stuff. And this talking points like that is what's keeping Kobe Bryant out of it.
Yeah.
Like, show me, what is this? LeVon, come on the panel and explain how Kobe
we
beat
had a whole stream.
Remember
we named all his teammates that they had, how good that team was?
It was a good team.
Yeah.
And only a good team was going to beat that Celtics team. There was no individual, like, we saw what they would do.
He didn't do it
if all you had was an individual talent. If you just had one individual talent, the Celtics team was going to.
That was a good team, but that wasn't even one of the top 10 best teams of the NBA ever. It was a good team, but
you don't have to be a top 10 in NBA ever to win a championship. You just got to be.
I know that, but what I'm saying is that team was, people overrate that team, is what I'm saying. It was a good team, but people put too much emphasis on that team, like they're the KD Warriors or somebody.
Okay,
that's my point.
Nobody said that. Nobody said
no superstars on this team. You don't have to have superstars in order to win, Bradshaw. You don't have to. Like, how was that team operating? Like, Lamar
Detroit didn't have no
really
superstars.
They had some really good players on that team, and now I'm hearing people denigrate Paul Gasol as if he was some bum that Kobe just dragged to the finals.
Paul Gasol outplayed KG. Paul Gasol outplayed KG in 2010.
They don't win none of them titles that they got.
But listen at this though. Pau Gasol wasn't what y'all trying to. Y'all talking like Pau Gasol was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or something. That's not what we're doing. Stop it, bro. Y'all be trying to talk about Pau Gasol like he Moses Malone or one of these guys. Dude, stop.
Glorified the Mingle gesture. Nobody up here said that.
Nobody.
Yes, it is. That's how y'all be. That's how y'all be trying to make it seem.
Don't say y'all, because I didn't say that. So what do you?
That's cap, man. Get out of here. I ain't saying Pau Gasol wasn't good. He was a really good player. Come on, bro.
What was Paul Gasol in the league at that time? Was he considered one of the best power forwards in the league?
I guess. Give or take.
He's struggling to be honest. Come on, Beagle Jack.
Give or take, because the reason why I say that,
is one of the best power forwards in the league, though.
Yeah, one of the best. He was about maybe 5 or 6, maybe.
But it don't matter. I'm just saying he was looked
maybe
at as
7 or 8. I don't know, but
he was looked at as one of the best at his position.
You only had Dirk, Tim Duncan, and KG over him at that point.
No, because a lot of people still had Mari Stoudemire and guys like that over.
No, they did.
Maybe I said maybe, but It's not too many. You talking about 29 other power forwards that start.
Nah, he ain't that low. I'm not saying he that
why we
low.
hating on Paul Gasol though? Like
no, ain't nobody hating on Paul Gasol, but we're not gonna overrate him.
You would defend but you would defensive.
Why are you comparing him
but
to
you
Kareem?
hold on. Yeah, but
because
you would
that's how y'all try to make him seem.
That's why. You were
nobody
defensive.
not.
Hold on.
Nobody not.
Hold on. You were defensive. You were defensive. Hold on. I said a fact that happened what he did in the finals. He outplayed Kevin Garnett, an all-time great player in the NBA Finals in 2010, and you said that for no reason. That's what happened.
Because I'll be trying to overglorify Paul Gasol. That's why.
Hold on. Mingo, how does overglorify Paul Gasol? Mingo, how does overglorifying not say a fact? What did I say that was not true?
Man, Paul Gasol is the same
come
level
on now.
I put Chris Bosh on.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Mingo, this is what's lost in all of this. Kobe Bryant wanted Paul Gasol over there. He wanted him over there.
Yeah, I know. I never said he didn't. He didn't.
So if Kobe wanted him over here, that speaks volumes to how good Paul Gasol was. You trying to rank him amongst Kareem and all these different dudes. Nobody else.
No, I didn't. I'm not trying to. I said this is how people talk about him. Listen to what I'm saying.
You said y'all.
I said listen to that's how people try to make it seem.
Nobody does that, bro. You just make that.
Yes, they do.
Nobody does that.
Yes, they do. Well, y'all should hear him talk about Paul Gasol. You would think he's a top 10 all-time great.
I'm gonna start asking. People to show links. I'm gonna start asking people to show links, nigga. You can't just be saying something like come on.
Get out of here with that.
I haven't heard many people give him the just due that he really deserves.
He deserves a lot of credit. I'm not saying that now. He definitely deserves a lot of credit. Just like any other superstar caliber player or any other all-star caliber player that played on any team, they deserve credit on any team. Like Chris Bosh deserves credit, Kevin Love deserves credit, Shaq deserves. Everybody deserves. Scottie Pippen. That's it. That's for any team.
Yeah, no, you right about that. But don't sit up here and say y'all trying to put him in these heights that he don't belong. Nobody up here said that. I hear more people denigrate him because they try to elevate Kobe like this LeVon dude. He said that this dude won by himself.
Yeah.
So
no, he didn't win by himself. Now, I disagree with that.
By himself. You got a lot of people.
No, I disagree with that now.
Okay, that's fine. But you got a lot of people that say that. I see more of this than people actually elevating Paul Gasol to the superstar Hall of Fame level. I see more of this shit. This LeVon Bradshaw guy. I see more comments like that because they try to make Kobe seem like he was all by himself and he was dropping 60 points a game and beating all these all-time great teams when that's not the case.
Nah, wait a minute.
If you break down all his finals performances, when you really just in a scope, you just look at all of Kobe Bryant's finals performances. Kobe Bryant is average in the finals, bro. And a lot of y'all Kobe fans extreme fans won't admit that. So LeVon Bradshaw, come on the panel and show me a lot of Kobe Bryant's finals moments where he carried the whole team by himself. Show me those moments where he led both teams in statistical categories. Show me all those moments. Can't none of y'all do that. All y'all do is just overrate the stuff that he did like we didn't see it.
Ain't nobody carrying the team by themselves, Khalil.
No, I know that, but Bingo Jester,
what are you saying?
Say that though. It's
a
lot of people.
But ain't nobody carrying the team by themselves. You said like he drug the team to the point. Ain't nobody carrying the team by themselves.
That's all we were saying, Mingo, in the beginning. When the guy in the comments said Kobe did it, but we just saying no, he had help.
Kobe did. Kobe is the only player in NBA history to win 2 back-to-back rings without another top 75 player. Now he the only one to do that.
But what do that really mean for real? I hear a lot of people run to this top 75 since they introduced.
What you mean? What it mean for real, nigga? If LeBron did that, y'all be glorifying it. Stop it. What do that mean for real? It means a lot. Stop the cap. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's what we're not doing.
No, we're not doing that top 75 stuff. Y'all.
So what? It counts.
That's what y'all.
Who cares? It counts. It's a part of history.
But until they make this stuff up, none of y'all ever said that. What do that really mean for real?
What you mean? What does it really mean?
No,
Man, y'all
what
gotta
do it
stop the
really
cap,
mean
man.
for
Y'all come with a bunch of cap when it comes to
hold on.
Kobe, but I don't know
Nah,
what's wrong with
you
y'all.
in here.
hold
Since you
on,
start
Mingo
talking,
Jester.
you've been capping.
Did the Pistons?
Nigga, please.
Did the Pistons win one without a top 75 player? Or was
Kobe
one of those
extreme
guys
fan.
top 75?
No, they're not.
So they did it.
But that's one championship. I said back-to-back champion. Did you not hear what I said?
Oh God!
Did you not hear what I said?
So
No,
this
I
is what
didn't.
Mingo
You didn't hear what I
Justice
said,
doing.
did you? I'm gonna say it
This is
again.
what he
Kobe
doing.
is the only player in NBA history to win 2 back-to-back titles without a top
Now,
75
Mingo,
player.
hold on, Mingo,
So
Mingo.
look at him denigrating his teammates.
No, Mingo.
That's what you're doing.
Now that you say that, Mingo, what does that mean? Like when you tell us that, what are we supposed to do with that?
Out of all the all-time great players in the top 10, Kobe is the only one to do that.
Okay,
If
now
you're gonna put Kobe in the top 10 or not.
What do we do with it? What do we do with that?
What you mean? What do you do with it? You count it. It goes on his resume.
Okay,
What you mean?
hold on, Mingo.
Just like anything else.
No, Mingo, I got that. Now you told us the information, and it's supposed to be all impressive. So what do we do with this information now that you told us that he won?
Lamont, stop acting slow, bro. You know basketball. What do you do with it? You add it to his
so we added
resume,
to it.
like you do with like any other thing that a player do.
But what I'm saying is, here, Mingo Jester, here's the funny thing. Before the top 75 list was even created, most rankings had Kobe outside of the top 10. So now all of a sudden, since this top 75 ranking was created last year, we're supposed to then say, oh, now that this top 75 list is created, we have to say that Kobe won back-to-back championships without
Lamont. That don't even matter, and you know it. That don't even matter. Whether you got him top 5, top 10, top 20, top 100, I don't give a damn where you got him at.
Hold on.
Still an accomplishment, regardless of where you got him ranked.
Mingo. So what new narratives do we create when they come out with the top 100 on the 100-year anniversary?
What do you mean? What new narratives?
That's basically what this thing with.
Nigga, that's not a narrative. That's a fact.
Hold on.
That's not a narrative. It's a fact.
Mingo.
I don't know this.
Mingo, it's a narrative because this top 75 list was just created. When it was a top. Hold on. So how come nobody was saying Kobe won a championship without a top 50 player when the top 50 list was out? Why wouldn't the top 75?
Because he didn't have it.
I just created this narrative with the top 75. It's just like a new narrative.
That's not a narrative, bro. It's a fact.
What you're doing is you're just spinning what he did. You're just spinning what he did, and
you're trying to craft it's not a narrative.
You're trying to craft it into something that's more impressive than what it actually was.
Tell me where I'm lying at. Tell me where I'm lying at.
No, I'm not saying
that shit don't even make sense, bro.
What I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, I'm saying you taking something that he did and you just trying to put a spin on it to make it sound more impressive.
That's not a spin. That's a fact. What kind of spin am I putting on it? That's a fact.
All you have to do is say he won back-to-back championships. That alone is impressive. But to try to add this extra spin on it, he won one. Like when you say that he won it, when you say that he won it without a top 75 player, which we know that the top 75 player list is already flawed. We're talking about a list that has Damian Lillard over Dwight Howard. So a top 75 list. So now you have to convince me that the top 75 list that came out is credible. Because I don't believe the top. Hold on. Are you saying it's not flawed?
No, it's flawed. But any other list,
hold on, Mingo Juster. Mingo. You yelling, but you're not listening.
I'm not yelling. I'm talking really.
I'm saying, can you say with 100% certainty that this top 75 list that was created is 100% accurate? Or do you?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. What you gonna do about it?
Or have we identified flaws in it already?
You can identify flaws in any kind of award that you give out in the NBA. What are you talking about?
First of all, being top 75 wasn't an award.
I say any kind of award, whether it's an award, an achievement, a stat, you can denigrate any kind of achievement you get in the NBA. That's anything. What are you talking about?
It's just a list that NBA.com created, and they made a big fanfare about it just to give people something to talk about. It's not even a very accurate list if you look at it. It's not even very accurate. So now what you've done is that's what I'm saying. Because everybody has a different top 75. So now what you've done is you've taken this NBA top 75 list. Now you've basically said that this list is so accurate Kobe didn't have any of these top 75 players, and him winning back-to-back championships without any of these 75 guys is what makes him so great. Because the one thing that I did see with Kobe is that Kobe couldn't get it done with some of those top 75 players. So when he had some of those top 75 players, he couldn't get it done. So how do we correlate?
Man, Lamont, stop the cap, bro. We're not doing this.
No,
we're not doing this.
Bingo, that's not cap. That's facts, like you said. You can't ignore the opposite. I'm just telling you, if you want us to consider that he won without these top 75 guys, then how do we correlate him losing with top 75 guys?
There's no correlation.
How do we?
You know why?
Is that how we?
You know why? Y'all, you capping, bro. Stop it. Listen to what I'm about to tell you.
Did he?
All these other lists. Hold on, Lamont. Let me get my point off. All these other lists supposed to be super credible. Bleacher Report. All these other lists that got Kobe 14, 12, 11, whatever. These lists supposed to be 100% factual. These lists supposed to be the gospel. But now all of a sudden, it's a top 75 list to give Kobe credit or give him just his due. Now it's a trash list.
Just because you yelling don't mean you lying. Nobody said anything.
No, I'm not lying. That's the truth, and you know it. Lamont, stop it.
Who said Bleacher Report's list was credible?
Y'all see that?
Man, Lamont, Lamont, when you look at people in the chat, and they type something in the chat, they'll put that list up there with Kobe number 14. And a lot of people, yes, they do, Lamont. Stop lying, bro. You're lying, bro. You are lying. You are lying.
Come on, hold on, Ralph. Hold on. It ain't a three people. What I'm saying, Mingo, I said specifically before Kobe passed, I said you could go to 10 to 15 different rankings and Kobe would be outside of the top 10. It doesn't mean that they're credible, but what I'm showing there is just a pattern of different sports writers and voters who say that Kobe's outside of the top 10. And then all of a sudden, when he passes, you go to all of these 14 different sites, and now all of a sudden, Kobe's been elevated into the top 10. So when you say, so what I'm saying is, nobody's saying I've called Bleacher Report aggregate media. They're not credible. I've called Fadeaway World and all these people with lists aggregate media. No, they write things for headlines and for views. So nobody said that they're credible. You make them credible if you look at them as real sources. What I'm saying is, if you're going to say Kobe won back-to-back championships, if you're going to say he won back-to-back championships without a top 75 player, then is it fair for me to say that I can diminish him because he lost with top 75 players after Shaq? How do I criticize him there?
Lamont, you literally just made my point.
Can I criticize him? That's not
literally
my question.
Out of your mouth.
Hold
on. Let me get my point off. You literally just made my point.
It's a very simple answer. If you can say that Kobe,
let me get my point off. You literally just made my point.
I just need you.
Man, let the man talk, Mingo.
I just need him to answer a very.
Nigga, he been talking the whole time.
I just need you to answer
stop
the
crying
question.
for this nigga, man.
Hey, shut up. I'm talking to you.
Can you answer this question, Mingo? Because look, I'm letting you ride with this. If you want to ride with Kobe won a championship without top 75 players, is it fair for me to criticize him and say he lost with top 75 players? Is that a fair criticism?
Multiple. Who was the top 75 players he lost with, Lamont? Who was the top 75 players he lost with?
Steve Nash and Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard is not a top 75 player.
Karl Malone, Shaq.
On my list, he's top 75.
Man, he's not top 75. Stop it.
Yes.
He's not.
Hold on. So this is where it goes back to the credibility of that list. For that list to have Damian Lillard, my favorite player in the league right now, over a guy like Dwight Howard, just so you can say he's not a top 75 player, which we know he is, and we know Steve Nash was, and he lost with those guys. Well, then how do we is it fair to criticize him there?
Everybody in the top 75 players. What's your point?
Stop it,
What's your point?
It ain't
everybody also top 75 players, but since Kobe got a hand over everybody, now you got to criticize him on it. Everybody wants for top 75 players.
Hey, listen, you sitting up here making up stuff, man.
You just made this whole narrative.
That's not a narrative. That's a fact. That's not a narrative. It's a fact.
Hold on,
a lot of people.
Hold on.
So a
But
lot of
Mingo,
people don't.
How is what you said a fact, but what I said ain't a fact? What I said was just as much of a fact.
Because okay, from 2008 to 2010, he won 2 championships. Is that correct?
Yeah, I
Yes.
said what you said was a fact, but what I said was also a fact.
What top 75 player he had on that team other than himself?
Steve Nash.
He
lost with
Steve Nash was not on that team. Steve Nash was not on that team.
Did he?
I said from 2008 to 2010.
Bro,
did he win 2 championships? Yes, he did. Okay. Now, what player he had on that team that was not top 75? That was top 75.
Bryant lost. Has Kobe lost with a top 75 player?
Multiple top 75
He
players.
lost with Shaq, right? He lost with
Gary
with
Payton.
Nash, right? Yeah, he lost with Gary Payton, Karl Malone. He lost with Dwight Howard. He lost with a whole bunch. So we should criticize since he won without a top 75 players. That means he choked with the top 75 players. So now Kobe's a choke because Kobe couldn't get it done. No, I'm just saying this is how you create bad takes by creating up.
That's not a bad take. That's a good take. You just can't answer nothing I'm telling you.
No, but I'm just saying, because you created this top 75 logic, I'm just using it in reverse.
What you mean? It's a fact.
And Lamont, and he lost to a team that had no top 75 players on it.
Oh, that's even worse. He choked.
Oh man!
Every player lost to top 75. Name me a player in NBA history that didn't lose to a top 75 player. That didn't lose to top 75 players on that team. Name me a player. Name me a player that didn't lose with other top 75. That kills y'all whole argument.
Hold on.
I think that's the point.
Name me a player.
What are you talking about?
Hold on. Name me a player that lost to a team in the championship with no top 75 players.
They lost. Okay, what they do? They lost. What you want me to say? They lost. Ain't nothing else I can say about it. They lost.
But Mingo, that's what happened when you.
Ain't nothing I can say about that. They lost.
But when you use a narrative like that, that's what happens. When you use a narrative like that, that's what happens.
I can say about it. They lost. What else you want me to say?
Like this, it ain't nothing else you can say.
No, they didn't just lose. Just because remember what I said. I said Kobe just went back to back. But you said saying he went back to back wasn't enough. You had to add in went back to back without a top 75 player. So what I'm saying,
he did.
Hold on. So when he lost, I'm not saying he didn't just lose. He lost with top 75 players, and he lost to a team without top 75.
Everybody lost to that same Detroit team. Everybody lost to that same Detroit team with no top 75 players, but they won a championship.
But hold on.
Everybody lost to that same Detroit team.
No, that's not the point, though. What I'm saying is,
what is the point? Lamar, you're not making sense. Make it make sense. Everybody lost to that team.
He's talking about the finals,
Mingo.
The
what
top
I'm saying
75 got a good narrative.
Absolutely crazy.
Why is it not fair for me to say Kobe lost?
Oh wow.
With top 75 players. So if the fact that he lost with a top 75 players, does that mean he choked?
Everybody lost with top 75 players.
No. If Kobe was able to win without a top 75 player, how come he wasn't able to win with top 75 players? Why?
You're not gonna win them all, Lamont. I don't know nobody that won them all besides maybe Jordan and Hondo and probably Herb Jones, whatever his name. Herb Jones.
You still missing
KC Jones, Sam Jones, one of them.
Hold on, Mingo. You're missing the point. What I'm saying is, does it open the door for me to use that as criticism? If you're going to use the top 75
you want to use, but the facts still remain.
No. I mean, what you said, Mingo, is a fact. He won 2 championships without any players on this so-called top 75 list. But I've also watched him lose championships with multiple players on the top 75 list. So what I'm saying is that fair criticism. Is it fair criticism?
Yes, it is. It is. I guess it is. That's what you want to do.
Hey, can I get my reason why I
still get credit for that though?
I'm just saying. I mean, it's just very odd logic just to use this top 75.
And then the funny thing about you, Lamont, I'm gonna tell you how you try to finesse the conversation, because early on in the conversation, you try to say that before Kobe passed, all these top 10 lists didn't have Kobe on it. All these top 10 lists didn't have Kobe top 10. They only put him top 10 after the fact. That you were making my point for me. That's my point, because these lists
So why are you using the top 75 list?
But if something boosts Kobe, it got to be wrong, or it got to be something wrong with it. You're making my point for me. I didn't really have to do that.
If you know that these lists are flawed, then why are you using the top 75 list to create a narrative?
The same way you're using these lists when Kobe went top 10 before he passed. The same exact thing.
Man.
Bro, I wasn't using no list. I was just telling you where people had them ranked.
Mingle.
And I was just asking people, if you had him ranked outside of the top 10 before he passed, then why did you bump him up after he passed? I wasn't using it to say, oh, this justifies him being at 15. I wasn't using it to justify anything. I'm just saying it was most of y'all had him below top 10 before he passed, and then after he passed, you elevated him. That's just me criticizing, like y'all just moving him up because y'all feel bad.
Hey, can I get my read for
I had Kobe top 5. I had Kobe top 5 before he passed. He was playing. I already had him top 5.
We gotta. I'm gonna be wrapping it up here pretty soon.
Oh, okay.
Down. So I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to get understanding. I just want to make sure that Mingle opened up a new narrative for us to use. So it just really
you can use whatever narrative you want to use.
No, it just
but
really
the fact still remains that Kobe still won a 2 championships back to back without another top 7.
Mingle, Steph Curry did the same thing. He won 2.
I got to get this shut down. I got to get it shut down. I know y'all want to talk on this, but I got to get it shut down. Look. But like I said, man, it is what it is. People create these windows and narratives to make it sound spicy. You can say whatever you want to make it sound spicy, but then people can criticize the same way and make it sound just as spicy. And then, like I said, the top 75 list, as I saw it, was extremely flawed. At least the one on ESPN. That dumb list, that Damian Lillard, Portland Trail Blazers, my favorite team. But to put Damian Lillard over Dwight Howard, you have to be sick in the mind. Like, what kind of idiot does that? Like, that don't make sense. That tells you right there. So if they put Damian Lillard in the top 75, that tells me there's a whole bunch of flaws everywhere in their list. Because if we're going off pure basketball, George Mikan doesn't belong on the list. There's a ton of guys that don't belong on the list if we just going off pure basketball skills. But and it seems like they just play favoritism there when they put Dame in. So
damn, like Justin. You did my guy wrong, man. Y'all jumped Jester like that.
We didn't jump Jester. But Young Africa,
I see y'all.
Young Africa, isn't that fair? If people are gonna craft these new narratives off the top 75 list, then I could use the same top 75 list to criticize. And
you could.
Oh, he choked because he lost with 3 top 75 players, or he choked. Like, how many times did he lose? He lost 4 times with top 75 players. Man, he chokes. So now it's just a new narrative where you can come up with dumb talking points. If you
do Kobe get the narrative that all the other guys get, that Karl Malone and Gary Payton went in their prime? Do we get that narrative?
What narrative?
Do we get that narrative like every other player get?
No, he's their top 75 player, so that narrative don't mean.
But they was old. They wasn't in their prime. Do you get that narrative like any other player get?
Doesn't mean anything if they're top 75, Mingo Jester. You didn't say.
Yes, it does mean something. Because y'all always bring up they be old and all this extra stuff. They wasn't in their prime. He wasn't in their prime. That's all I ever hear.
That don't mean
this is where the narrative.
And stop crying, Mingo, man.
When you narratives,
nigga, shut up.
Hey, Justin, I got Kobe top 5, but when you use narratives, it's easy to debunk that dumb shit, right? You could have begun.
That's not a narrative. That's a fact. That's not a narrative.
It's a narrative because it doesn't really reflect his greatness, right? You're kind of trying to diminish the other players. At the end of the day, Kobe is great enough where you could have talked about his individual greatness. You could have talked about his skill level. You could have talked about a lot of things before you talk about winning back-to-back with top 75. See, Lamont going to eat that shit up, spit it out, and make you an example.
He didn't eat nothing up. Lamont was capping the whole time. I was capping his ass up the whole time.
Is it not a fact? Is what I said not a fact, Mingo?
But what I said not a fact.
No, Mingo, I said what you said is factual. Now, is what I said.
Okay, then. So how did he eat it up then? So I guess you both were telling the truth then.
Mingo, wait. What I'm saying is, when I used that top 75 list to criticize Kobe, wasn't it factual that he lost with multiple top 75 players?
Yes, Lamont, it was.
So that's factual. So that opens to so that means if the top 75 list can be used to showcase Kobe winning without some of these great players, I can also then use the same top 75 list to showcase that Kobe had multiple players off this top 75 list and couldn't get it done. And it's another way for me to
But let me guess, you don't get that injury narrative though. Okay. I mean, not injury. He don't get that old narrative. Okay, I got you.
All right, man. I guess.
All right.
Mingo don't want to let that 75 list go, man. He love that top 75. That was one of the worst lists I've ever seen.
No, that Bleacher Report list was one of the worst. Had Kobe at 14. That was one of the worst lists I've ever seen.
They had him at 11. They had him at 11.
They had him at 14, but when I saw him at 14.
You're the only one that mentioned that list too, though. So
That's a 9, that's a 10, that's a 11. We ain't gonna go through all that.
Maybe they was going off top 75. Maybe they saw that Kobe lost with multiple top 75 players.
That list wasn't even out then, Lamont. Stop capping. That list wasn't even out then. Stop the cap.
Bleacher Report said. Bleacher Report said Kobe lost with multiple top 75 players, and he choked. We cannot put him in the top 10. I think that's what they said.
That list wasn't even out then, Lamont. Stop the cap.
No, but you can modify stuff online on the fly. They probably modified it.
I guess, but that list wasn't even out then.
Don't do that, Lamont. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hey, see, he just provoking you, Justin. See, come on, man. Come on, Justin. Hey, man, look, you're making Kobe look bad out here, Justin, man. Come on, man. Look, he's great.
What are you talking about?
Amazing. Hey, look, I would just say something quite simply. And that is, to me, Kobe Bryant is arguably the most dominant individual player since Will Chamberlain. Yeah, I said, and I stand on that. There is numbers that back that up. When you talk about the individual dominance of it, hey, hold up. When you talk about
no, Young Africa, I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go.
Yeah, I know you gotta go. Exactly.
Oh, come on, bro. Just go here.
Hey, Justin.
We got practice. I got practice in 40 minutes.
Come on, bro. You gotta let me get off, bro. Y'all disrespecting Kobe, bro.
Hey, Jay. Hold on, Jay. Just so you know, real quick, everything that I said, it was nothing was intended. What I'm saying is, if you create fake narratives to try to boost Kobe up, it's just as easy for me to create fake narratives.
But
like some of the things that I was saying, like when I was saying those things about Kobe losing with top 75 players, it was just to show Mingo Jester. I could just make up stuff with this top 75 list just to criticize. If you want to use that list as some type of talking point that he did something so great, like he went back to back. Just leave it at that. Otherwise, we can use that list.
My only thing with the list is though, like, yeah, Kobe lost with top 75 players, but like there were hella, like you go through history, there were a lot of players who lost in the finals with another top 75 player. The fact is, Kobe is the only player to go back to back without a top 75 player. No other player can say that.
I know.
That's just a fact.
All right. And I'm sure if I went through a whole bunch of the anomalies with this new top 75 list, I can come up with a whole bunch of anomalies for LeBron, a whole bunch of anomalies for Jordan with top 75 guys and all types of crazy stuff.
That's the thing. I don't think so because Jordan, like most of his success came with Pippen.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm saying is, if I go through this top 75 list, I can find a whole bunch of anomalies that only apply to LeBron or Jordan off of top 75 list that isn't even really that credible.
I mean,
it's not very
possibly.
Credible. It's not a very good list. It's not a well constructed list. It's full of a whole bunch.
Okay, but why are we saying that though?
What we want to say. Just stick to Kobe went back to back without Shaq. That's all you need to say. Just being able to go back to back in the 2000s without Shaquille O'Neal is great in and of itself. But you don't have to say that none of the guys on this team was top 75 as if they were all trash and Kobe did it by himself. When we know Paul Gasol was a top 15 player in the league, having guys like Ron Artest, who was arguably the best perimeter.
A good role player. He was a good role player. That's what he was.
Jay. Yeah, see, and this is, I got to mute you because this is when we talk about defense. Every time a player's elite defensively, he's just a role player. He can't be a star. You can't be star defensively. Pippen couldn't be a star. Ron Artest.
Pippen wasn't a star. Pippen wasn't a star.
Hold on, Jay. You don't got to yell. And I got to shut it down soon. Ron Artest was arguably the best perimeter defender in the league in the best defensive era of all time. We're not talking about just an average.
Are you sure about that?
Era. This is the 2000s was the best defensive era of all time, and Ron Artest could
agreed
have been the best perimeter defender of that era. So for me just to walk around now, did he play a role?
I can't.
Did he play a role? Yes. What I'm saying is, like, I don't have time to argue this. What I'm saying is, when we just try to say,
can I just ask one question?
People just try to label these guys. People try to put labels on them just to diminish them. Oh, Ron Artest was just a role player. Well, no, he just played a role so they could win a championship. And if he didn't play into that role, if he came to that Laker team trying to be the star that he was on other teams, then it wouldn't have worked. Just like in 2004 when Kobe didn't want to play into his role. He wanted to be the star over Shaq, right? And we saw them bump heads and lose.
And he cost the team a championship. I agree.
What I'm saying is, I'm not going to knock Paul Gasol for deferring, playing a lesser role, even though he was a star on other teams. Ron Artest showed that he could be a star on other teams. But when they got on that Laker team, for us to win championships, I have to fall into a role and be great here. And that's all he did. So he was a star that had to defer. Paul Gasol was a star that had to defer to win.
He was a star in his role. That's what I would say about Ron Artest.
However you want to label it, at the end of the day, you can use labels to try to diminish who he was, but Kobe don't win without him. Especially how
I'm not trying to diminish.
Especially when we saw.
I disagree.
Especially when we saw how Ron Artest was playing in the finals and in the playoffs, helping that team on both sides of the ball.
Let's be honest, Lamont. We could have replaced Ron Artest with about 5 other players. If you replace him at that time with Andre Karolinko, the Lakers are probably still going to win a championship.
What I want you to do is I want you to go simulate that on 2K and come back and tell me the results, because don't give me nothing. Ifs are all made up in your own head and they're all fake. So,
all right. Can I just ask you this one question before you go, bro?
Yes.
Was Ron Artest a better defensive player on the perimeter than Tony Allen? Yes or no?
Yes.
That's fucking cap. That's cap. Yeah.
Right.
I'm gone, man. I'm gone. That's fucking cap.
He was. All right. Salute, Jay. He said, that's fucking cap, man. That's fucking cap. And then got up out of here. Now, Trevor Ariza was pretty good out there, too. Good 3-and-D guy. He says, Ron Artest. Yeah, y'all say he was casual. It's funny how when Kobe talks about these guys like they was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But when y'all talk about him, y'all be acting like when Kobe would talk about Paul Gasol, bro, that man had nothing but praise. You would think Paul Gasol was damn near top 20 all time. I don't know why y'all don't take Kobe's word for it. Kobe told y'all how good these guys was. But now all of a sudden, because y'all want to uplift Kobe, you don't want to give him no props. That's sad. But let me go ahead and get this one shut down, man. We're gonna come back. We can revisit this, man. We got Scott Williams tomorrow, man. So all these questions about the 90s and things of that nature, man, what it was like, what MJ was like behind the scenes. Hey, we can also ask, man, did the Bulls know that Jordan was coming back, man? All the tough questions, man. I'm sure he got all the inside scoop on all this stuff. But, man, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all see the video. The premiere's out. We're going to have them on tomorrow, so should be a good conversation. But it's FYF Sports, man. Another great podcast episode. We'll be back with more sports and news. Until then, it's FYF Sports, man, and we out.